Hey guys, Anthony here, Interviews with Everyday People. This episode's going to be a little interesting. We're kind of doing a callback to the very first episode I've ever did. It was a pilot episode. The pilot episode actually was recorded about 2 years before the podcast even started. I sat down with one of my best friends, Brian Russell. We talked about his story. We're going to touch in a little bit of the story again, but we're mostly going to focus on the passing of his wife, Lori, who was a very dear friend of mine, and we're going to be joined by the entire family this time. We're going to talk about, we're going to have fun because it's a family that once you hear, what they went through and how they keep a positive attitude still, it's very inspiring. How the family went from the two daughters and going through the loss of their mother, and then the son that's there, Brian Jr. He they talk about the grief, and then their father moving on and finding a new mom at a very young age, and they how Nicole really stepped up and really helped the family. It's a crazy good story, and we have some fun in between in the middle there and crack some jokes because that's kind of what we do. Once again, if you want to support us, head over to the Interviews with Everyday People on Facebook or the IwEP Network on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. We do have a merch page over on the Facebook page. You can grab some cool merch, help support the podcast. You could also do a donation. Anything that helps us grow so we can get better equipment and keep this show moving. So this is going to be episode number 67. Here's some Churches and Trains, and we'll see you on the other side of the music.
Shit on me, 'cause I still can't sleep without medication, and I let my thoughts run wild while I still think I got one, and I care too much about my reputation, and I'm tired of sleeping on this floor.
Hey everyone, this is Anthony, Interviews with Everyday People. This is my first on-location audio-only podcast. So this is first time I did in a long time where I recorded twice in one day. So I just got done doing a phone interview, and then I went on Facebook Live, and Brian's like, hey, you should come over, bring your microphones. And I was like, fuck it, let's do it. So if you are someone who follows along to the podcast, or I did a pilot episode a long time ago, and it was only on SoundCloud. And then I moved it from SoundCloud to Anchor, and I just put it out as a pilot episode, and it did really, really well. And I was like, well, fuck it, I should probably do this. So we're going to sit down at the same table that the pilot episode was recorded with a little bit of a change. Because now that we're not recording from a cell phone, I actually have better equipment. We're going to be here with Brian, his two daughters, his son, and his wife, Nicole, who sounds like a dude. No, I'm joking. She thinks she sounds like a dude, but she doesn't. You could be the judge of that. Sound off in the comments. She's doing homework, so we're just gonna kind of we're technically breaking rules.
We're winging it.
Yeah, we're breaking all the rules of the quarantine, but he only lives a block away, so fuck it, we're going for it.
And I'm not infected. I haven't been out in ages.
Yeah, Brian's been social distancing for 15 years now, so this whole household has been social distancing.
We've been in
here.
Yeah,
they have
quarantine.
So bring that a little closer there.
Just call that a Wednesday.
If you need more slack, you can do that. Like, because you want to kind of be like.
Mm-hmm. Are you gonna cut that out?
No. I don't cut anything out. Once the record button happens, we go.
Okay.
So let's go around the room. We'll start with Pops here. Give it so people can identify the name to the person because we're no longer doing video.
Right. Brian Russell, 52.
Why is he doing that?
Tall and handsome.
Did you just do your ASL?
Likes long walks on the beach.
The old school What's your ASL, bro?
What does that mean?
ASL was an old school way online to tell people your age,
I thought
sex.
It was American Sign
No, age, sex, location. So you're like 14, male, Pennsylvania.
Oh golly.
Yeah, it's the first time I ever
52 male, Fragwell.
We'll go with you now. Go ahead.
I'm Taylor Russell, 17, and I'm just here for a good time, honestly.
Don't say it like that, you weirdo. Yeah. That's not the type of podcast. Go ahead.
I'm Nicole Russell, and I'll be 40.
You don't have to say your ages. I don't know why that trend
I'm
started.
him. I'm following him.
Go ahead.
I was trying to be cute.
This is the
Oh,
wild.
it's me.
This is the wild card of the episode. Here.
Wild card up next.
I'm Madison Russell. That's it. I don't have anything to me.
All right, I'm Brian Jr. People usually call me Little Brian.
I thought you were gonna say like people call me Dragon.
My
Yeah,
senpai
I
name
ain't
is...
dragging nothing.
Dragging these nuts across your face. Wow, that's so weird watching you smoke.
Oh, wow. This is really...
It's weird watching me smile.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched you do it. Strange. Anyway, so the first time we're going to kind of dive into again some of the same stuff we talked about a little bit on the intro. Not too much because we want to kind of we don't want to get too. I don't want to cry. Is pretty much what it comes down to. But the pilot episode is really good. I think what I'm going to do is I may pull the pilot episode back out and re-air it and put it on YouTube just as like the audio again because it wasn't video as well. I think it'd be something for people to listen to, and I'll reshare it when I do this episode. We're going to kind of dive a little bit into that because it is better equipment, and not only are you going to hear the story from Brian's perspective, but the other people who also lived it. I think is kind of interesting as well. You kind of were there towards the end. Yeah.
Save the best for last.
Yeah.
Welcome
And
to
then
the...
the rebirth of
I wouldn't say sloppy mess, but old mess.
You cleaned
This
our
was a
story
hot
up.
mess.
yeah.
Yeah.
You came into a fucked up situation.
Yeah, I did.
And you
And
It was
you-
fully loaded.
Welcome.
It was a fully
and
loaded
held it down.
Trying.
Yeah.
Cleaned it up.
She walked into this fucking crazy Russell household and didn't run away yet. I commend you.
I've
Holy
wanted to run
fuck 'em.
away, and I've been here at 17.
Jesus Christmas.
16 years and I'm ready to go.
I was tempted by the Russell demons a few times, and I was like, "Get away from me, Satan!"
They're like, welcome.
Come
No,
in,
I'm
join.
joking, Ashley. You're not Satan. I miss you. I hope you're doing well. Yeah. So we'll get into all that. So I think the very first question I asked you on the podcast, I went back and listened to the pilot. The very first question I said, "What was your impressions when you first met me?" And I want to know if your answer stayed the same.
Jesus.
Cheese and crackers.
Now you're making me work my old brain.
Yeah. Well, just go by what right now. When you first met me, what was your first impression?
You were cool.
Okay.
You were
Was not as cool as an intro as last time. Well, go ahead.
you were like, I don't know. Very few guys I wished would have dated my daughters. You were one of them.
So your exact answer was too handsome for his own good.
You're like, I wish
Times
you
have
were
changed.
real
Real
dad.
answer.
He's looking at a different vessel. Let's just say that the first podcast was about 4 years ago because the podcast has been going now for 2 years. But I did the pilot episode probably another year or a half before I even started the podcast.
Yeah, but you know me well enough. Vessel means nothing to me.
Yeah.
It's the person inside of it. So.
Listen, I'm fat. I'm not the same looking person. I have more hair on
You
my
were
face.
you still are too handsome for your own good.
I try. I don't believe you, but we'll go from there. Yeah, so I met Brian. I used to. I was a strapping young man who played basketball. Yeah, I don't know if you could look at my this being I'm in now and see this giant Buddha belly I got going on and be like, this guy played basketball. Yes, I did, and
Pretty
I was
damn good basketball.
I was pretty decent at it at one point in time. And we used to have some people that would come watch us, and one of those people was your daughter, Ashley, and we became friends. And I guess she had a crush at one time.
A heavy one.
Yeah, and she was like, "I like you," and I was like, "Nope, sorry, I don't. I'm not." She's like, "Why?" Because All right, so Ashley, here's your mistake. I met you. I thought you were cool, and then you invited me to your house, and I became really good friends with your parents. And then I was like, I can't
Like a
date.
sister now.
Yeah, I can't. I
I
can't
gotta
ever.
look out for you, not.
Because I was like, man, I'm really accepted here, and I can come here and hang out all the time. And if I start dating you, and I'm a scumbag when it comes to women, I don't want to ruin hanging out here. So I'm just never gonna cross that bridge with you.
So what you're saying is, me and Mom were more important than.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like, I ain't burning bridges.
So what happened was, I think we met and we hung out, and then at that time I was a senior and I was just graduating high school, so I would just be hanging out on my first summer at a high school at the house till like 5:30 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
She would wake up to go to school, and I'd be still sitting at the kitchen table. She's like, could you fucking leave my house? Like, I think the crush went away because he was like, this fucking kid's here all the time and nothing's ever going to happen. And so it was annoying to her at that point. But yeah, I pretty much lived there without sleeping there. I don't think I've ever slept at the house.
Not that I recall.
Yeah, I would just walk home half asleep.
Still own that house.
Yeah, it was good times. One of the first times we hung out, I made Lori pee her pants, laughing.
Yes.
And then I carried that tradition onto you, Nikki. It was fun. I think I made her pee her pants recording her phone voice message. She remember I re-recorded her voice message so when people called her phone, it was me acting like if it was Napoleon Dynamite.
Yes, that's right. Yes, it was.
And
I forgot about that.
She peed her pants. She ran upstairs because she could not contain herself. But yeah, those nights were just long nights of playing Rummy. I learned how to play Rummy.
Mm-hmm.
I would watch or kind of watch you play World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy Online, and then I was like, can you guys play a fucking game I can play too? He's like, you should play Final Fantasy. I was like, not a fucking chance. I tried and I was like, I'm never gonna do this. But then we started playing like shooter games like SOCOM and some other ones, and then I was into that because I was good at those. But it was just nights of either gaming or hanging out, watching movies. Just kind of, it was fun. It was a good time. Yeah, and then you little creepos.
Hey
now. Judge us.
We are not creepos.
Now.
Well, you weren't the creepo.
Taylor.
Hey.
Taylor was the
I'm
creepo.
on a different vibe.
Taylor was talking to imaginary creatures that end up being legit folklore.
Yeah.
Hey, they connected with me, and I couldn't help it.
Yeah, Totans or whatever the fuck they were called.
They
They're
came through
Totans.
my window without consent, okay?
That's creepy.
That's not weird at all.
It was creepy.
Yeah.
And they
Jordan-
drew them on the wall.
Jordan, who's not, he's downstairs.
Oh, she's in the.
Oh, he's in the living room sleeping with the big horse next to him.
Our dog.
That dog is getting wider and wider every time I see him.
170 some pounds.
Yeah, we're gonna be in trouble when we take him to the vet.
They're gonna yell at you. They're like, you need to fucking walk this guy.
We walk him
Yo, he's a beast, bro.
whenever we can.
We have a new addition coming.
A new. Are you gonna let him in the house, or is he gonna be like an outdoor
Oh no,
dog?
he's in the house. I don't do the outdoor dog.
Yeah, I hate that. Thank you. I know you got a cool little setup back there.
Yeah.
Is that where you sleep now, Brian? You live out in that shed?
No, he sleeps on the couch.
No, yeah, I sleep out in the shed
Oh.
Yeah.
on the nice wooden floor. It's all right.
I have that my Mew out there now for my hawk.
A Mew.
A Mew.
What the
Yeah.
hell's a Mew?
It's the house for a hawk.
Oh. So,
2 rooms to it.
just to kind of catch people
Foul
up,
bear.
every time I come to this establishment, there's
We can
there's-
call our house an establishment.
there's like new creatures living in the yard. Like I walked in the one time, there was like 155 chickens running around, and
Joe Exotic.
and roosters. Yeah, you're a hillbilly Joe Exotic.
Yeah.
Except tigers, you had roosters and
A goat.
at one time.
I
Bella.
love that goat. Oh
And
my
he
god.
turkeys.
Bella.
What's her name?
Fucking a squirrel.
Oh my god, my squirrel! Do not go after my
Do
squirrel's
not
neck like
diss
that.
Taylor's squirrel.
I'm gonna feed Brian to the hawk.
Yeah, you gotta bring that in there.
I'm gonna feed Brian to the hawk.
Ah, Jesus Christmas.
Carol Baskins, bitch.
Yeah. I'm gonna put. You don't put cologne on if you want them to eat it. You gotta put sardines on. What's up,
Sardine
all you?
oil.
What's up, all you cool cat and kittens?
Oh my god, stop.
That's what she says.
That's not okay.
Pretty good, actually.
Yeah. So if I walk into your fucking yard and it's a tiger out there, I'm never coming back.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Would
fucking-
you be impressed?
Even
at
though
this
the
point,
borough
though?
does not actually have an ordinance against it, so
But now he's got to do it now.
Yeah.
Thanks for the next hobby.
I'm gonna come in. His eyebrows are gonna be pierced. I'm like, "What's up, motherfucker? Wanna come see my tiger?" He has a
I
web-
have sardine oil
he-
back there. Like.
he has a web show on the internet.
yeah, I'm not doing all that.
The goddamn ordinance of Frackville wants me to shut down my zoo.
Somebody was complaining about our rooster though.
I would have complained if I lived next to someone with a fucking rooster who just lost its mind every time it thought it seen the
Your
sunlight.
neighbor has a rooster.
Who?
What's her name on the corner?
The Stady.
No, she doesn't have a rooster.
Yeah.
She had hens. She never had a rooster.
Oh yeah.
I thought she did.
Oh yeah, she did.
I was always in the
Yes,
yard.
she
cops,
did.
The cops actually told us when ours would crow and they complained, they'd be like, "We can hear the one from our police station." That's
No,
in
she
there."
never had a rooster.
I'm just telling you what she.
Yeah,
told
she
me.
only had hens. And she might. I don't know. I might be wrong, but she had hens.
I never seen her, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just going based
her
on
hens were
information.
her hens
received.
were crazy. Not crazy, but they were really like they they were actually like really. They didn't bother nobody. Your hens didn't bother nobody, but the rooster.
Oh my
fuck
God.
that! I would never ever.
Every morning.
I
I went in
fight
the
it.
yard
Fuck.
with
I used
that
to fight it in the
rooster.
Well, see, I needed a rooster because I was incubating
I was
the
gonna
eggs.
punch
Yeah.
it.
So it was
Yeah.
You needed a man.
I just thought it was funny how like the dog would walk around with just like
When the
avoid that.
rooster would
And
go
just-
after the dog,
he wouldn't
he
care.
was like,
And
The,
then when
dog,
the
the
rooster
dog's
would go
that
after
big. He's like,
people-
whatever, bro.
yeah, the rooster pecked at him. He's
"Why are
like,
you gonna take something off?"
he's
Like,
like I'll kill you, but I don't have the energy to. 'Cause I'm 278 pounds. I have more body than I am head,
He does have more body than he does head.
and he has a big ass head.
He's a horse, bro.
Yeah.
He is a horse.
What kind of breed is he?
Akita.
okay.
Akita.
Akita.
Is he like?
His
Well,
daddy was 130 pounds.
What was that show? La Femme Nikita was it used to be on the USA Network.
Not Lakita. Akita.
Akita.
A-
We're crossing on
AKITA.
dangerous territory. We should probably move on.
Oh my god.
Huh?
Have another beer.
Yeah. Listen, I have 2 Corona. All these beers are super light. I'm actually sobering up.
I'm sobering up.
He's looking out for whiskey now.
No, I just see the Cards of Humanity up there.
Yeah, we're not allowed to play that because Dad pulled out the Pac-Man card one time.
What was the Pac-Man card?
We're just going to let it at that. Think about it.
Let it settle.
What was the card? I'll Google it right
It
now.
was grossly inappropriate for young
he
girls.
pulled it. He pulled it out. That of course, all cards to pull out. He pulls that one out.
He's like, this game's over.
He's like, we're putting it back.
oh, that's my phone. Never mind. Let's not do that. Did you hear? You can't hear. You're not wearing headphones. I heard the feedback. Yeah. So met Ashley, then met you, and then met your wife Lori. We'll just say. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know the terminology. I don't want to offend anyone.
What do you mean?
Deceased wife.
Yeah, your deceased wife. I don't want to say first wife because it wasn't like.
No, she was actually my second, but
Oh yeah, that's right.
yeah, 'cause
Good call.
Heidi was my first.
Heidi. Heidi was the first wife. Not my Heidi.
Do you know
No.
Brian's nickname?
Different Heidi. Huh?
Do you know
Brian's
Brian?
nickname?
Let's not go there.
Dad's nickname.
What was it? Let's talk about it.
Let's not go there.
We can't say.
No, we're not gonna.
Is it a good nickname or was it?
good.
Was it pre-divorce or
I
after
was
divorce?
the head cooler at a bouncer at a bar. I was the head cooler.
Just do it.
The head
I
cooler.
Yeah, that's
What's-
what they call it, the cooler.
You weren't a bouncer. You were a cooler.
Well, I was the manager. I was the manager of the
Swayze movie?
bouncer.
Okay.
I was the cooler.
Okay.
I kept them from killing the patrons
Okay.
when they would take them out and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But I ended up getting a nickname, and we'll just let it at that.
No, I thought you made like the
You have
post
to realize there was a lot of DJs there, live bands, and girls drinking. So I ended up with a nickname.
I can't even put those pieces together.
No, you won't. You won't put it together if you think about it, but
Yeah.
it's a good nickname.
I thought it was
No,
like a
then-
post-divorce nickname because everyone has a cool one after your breakup.
Well,
Dickhead, scumbag.
well, yeah, I've had a few of those.
Yeah.
You know, but
I've had a lot of those nicknames as well.
well, I guess we talked about it. We won't like make people wonder. It would rustle the love muscle.
I like how he flexed his eyebrows when he said it.
He's like, I know.
He gave
He's
a
like,
flex.
okay, let's not leave them wondering. It's Russell.
Did that
He's like,
pass?
any-
Did that pass on to you, Junior? You got a love muscle.
Not yet.
It's one of those things.
Yeah.
You got it or you don't.
How old are you now?
23.
I don't think if you haven't found your love muscle yet, it's gonna be a long journey.
Oh,
Been around.
yikes.
I didn't give myself the name, by the way. But
Yeah, you can't. You can't
The
give yourself
women
nicknames.
did.
My nickname was Black, but it wasn't given to me by women. It was given to me by my black friends because I thought it was irony and it was funny.
it
Yeah,
was irony.
it was irony. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we hung out. We did a lot of fun stuff. I remember being at the basketball court and like sitting there playing because I wouldn't eat. I was really really tiny, and not like I wasn't tiny like I looked like I didn't eat, but I was very like it was cut up. I had a decent. I was skinny,
nice
but
build, too.
I wasn't muscular, but I was defined. We'll say. Sorry, beer burp.
That was disgusting.
Listen, welcome to the podcast. I don't change who I am when
Like,
record
no
hits.
filter.
Yeah, so I remember I'd be sitting there and I'd be playing with people, and then all of a sudden the car would pull. Well, actually, Ashley or Amber would walk down, and she'd be like, "Hey, Lori said you have 15 minutes to get up to the house, or she's gonna come get you." And I'm like, "Cool." Now it didn't matter what quarter I was at. I could be at St. Canicus, which was around the corner. I could be at the school. I could be at the East End. I could be at 8th Street. She would send one of the girls. I didn't have a phone, so she would send your sister would have to walk around town I think what you would go for a ride, see where I was, and then send the girls to that court. Because I would change. I would go from court to court. If we beat everyone at this court and nobody else wanted to play us, we'd walk to the other one. So the next thing I would do is they would walk down. You have 15 minutes. I'm like, okay. Obviously, I'd lose track of time. I'd play another 5 or 6 games, and then all of a sudden, the Jeep would or the Jeep. It was a Jeep, right?
No, the Sportage.
The Sport, which is like a fucking Jeep. So they would pull in, and she'd be like, "Yo, in the car," and I'm like, "I'm in the middle of it." She goes, "How?" She wouldn't even ask how many points. Like, get in the car, and I'm like, "Yeah, I gotta go." And I would get in the car. I'd drive back. There'd usually be pizza or food or anything. And
Wish I always had to make sure
Dinner.
you ate.
yeah. When she made dinner for the family, when she made dinner for you guys, there was always a plate that had to be there for me, which was fantastic. Yeah, she looked out for me. She's fantastic. I wish Nikki made me some food. I'm joking. Oh yeah, you're fake Italian. I forgot.
Fake Italian.
Fake Italian.
We'll get into that. we'll cross that part of the story later. So I became like a staple for the most part. So yeah, we were raised a while, and then I guess you can kind of fill in the blanks from here. So from what I was told, I don't know. I'll kind of tell you where I remember, and then you can fill in from there. I guess there was your father passed away, and the day of the funeral, or a couple days after, Lori went to get out of bed, and she heard
the day of the funeral.
the day of, and she felt from what you described and heard, it sounded like someone shot a shotgun off in the room.
Double barrel, both barrels.
Yes, and it was her back
Collapsing.
and then she went to the breast cancer first, right?
She got diagnosed on October 1st.
Okay.
They did a lumpectomy,
Yeah,
and they took everything out.
and she thought she was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the day of
But
the
they said that they were sending her for standardized tests, which they do. They do a full body scan and an abdominal CT and everything. And then he said he was going on vacation. He'd get back to us in 2 weeks. He said that the lump looked suspicious, but she was young. She was under 30. They had gotten it early, and he had taken a good clear field. Don't worry about it. And so you think everything's. You think everything is. It's not good when he says the lump looks suspicious, but he says he took a really large margin, good clear field, and the scans were just standard procedure. And so that was on October 1st, and then on October 4th, my dad passed away, and so on October 5th, she went to get up. It's the day. Or I'm sorry, not October.
Yeah, you got a little closer there.
October 7th, not October 5th. She went to get up out of bed, and we had to go to the funeral because we had the viewing the night before, and she didn't need to call me. It sounded like a double barrel, and I had been around guns my whole life. It sounded like a double barrel shotgun went off, and it was her spine collapsing. The tumors had eaten away more than...
And she still went to the funeral that day.
Yeah, she never said anything. She just said that it was her back hurt, and we went through the entire funeral, the dinner, and after the dinner, she looked at me and said, "I think you need to take me to the hospital."
Yeah.
And then I yelled at her, obviously, when they told me what had happened, and she said, your dad was your best friend. I would never have you miss his funeral for me. And just the way she was. So.
Yes, you want to talk about the strongest human being I think I've ever met in my life. Jesus, I've lost a lot of people to cancer and seen cancer take people out. But cancer had to work overtime for Lori because she it was on her terms. Right. You know what I mean? It wasn't on anyone else's but hers. You have to realize her spine collapsed, and not one time was she ever in a wheelchair or needed assistance walking. Even though she was going through the cancer, going through not even just chemo, she went through even the extensive one.
Well, this being what they thought was going to be relatively, they got it all, and everything ended up not being the case.
Well, once it hit her spine, it went everywhere.
Well, she was stage 4 when she had presented.
Yeah.
There was 300 masses in her liver, 300 masses plus in her spleen. There was
Brainstem.
94 throughout her skeletal system. No, she didn't develop the brainstem tumors until 2.5 years into it.
Okay, that's what it was. Then.
That was on Christmas Eve.
And that's when they kicked into the radiation. That's when she had
They
to wear
did
that.
the
She had to do the
radiation.
mask, and she had to.
Yeah.
That mask is probably still in the attic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember when she brought
Yeah.
that home. Oh my God,
She
set that
just
right
never
up.
complained.
It looked like a fencing mask.
Mhm.
Yeah. You gotta get a little closer when you do talk, though. All right, just let you know.
But yeah, they
New to the podcast. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
she just never complained.
No.
She didn't.
Dude,
she
and
was
once again, I'm still. Maybe she wasn't able to go drive around. She did. She drove around. She did everything that she would. Like, here's Lori who went through her radiation and her chemo and stuff, and still was like, "What court is he at?" And still had dinner ready and made sure you guys were taken care of. Like, she didn't stop. Like, she didn't stop until she was in a bed at that point, where she was completely bedridden.
right. That was December 26th,
Yeah.
2012.
And it was, and I don't want to it was just so. It felt like the time when she was. This is just me, but it felt like the time when she was going through it. It felt like we watched her fight it for years, but it wasn't. It wasn't. It was.
almost 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. Yeah, if you fought
But
her for
not
5
an immense amount of time. But
No.
she had good times.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't ever say she.
You
didn't.
would never besides the fact where she went from long, really. I mean, looking at both of you,
Right.
Lori had you guys are fucking clones of your mother.
Yeah,
but
does
like
that ever creep you out?
Yeah, does
it does sometimes, a little bit sometimes.
You're like, oh,
So it does but I think each one of you have
distinct.
like I think your mother had two sides of personality, and I think each one of you took
a personality.
a side of
yeah.
it.
You're gonna stop at 2.
I'm just for the most. I'm saying like
We
the
divided them in
the
half.
girls
We're like-
wide. You know what I mean?
I know
Like,
what you're saying.
like I think there was like the wild, inappropriate, funny Lori, like young Lori, and then there was like the reserved, motherly,
Oh my
like
God, that is so
reserves,
true.
like need to calm down, need
Right.
to like get my
Grow up, right.
grown up Lori, and you had it with you, and by the age of 11, you're just like everything has to be in order, You know? And then you're like, woo!
You're like,
Look at this party.
You're like, let's dance on the table or something.
Yeah. But even Lori, when you guys met, she was younger and she had kids at a younger age. So she took on that personality at a very, very
Right.
at a snap.
Well, I had 5 children from my first marriage.
Yeah.
And she just they were hers.
pick
That
up.
was
Yeah.
that,
Not one time did she ever treat kids
No.
differently.
The ones she had natural and the ones that she had that
Yeah.
I had,
Everybody was equal.
everybody was equal.
Mm-hmm.
There was no. We don't believe in this whole step.
Yeah.
My oldest brother's adopted,
There was
and so I was raised where you don't have to be blood to be family.
exactly.
You don't. My best friends have been more my family than my family ever was.
Yeah.
I mean, now me and my father were the closest that a son and father could ever be. When he died, that was and she knew that was a big portion of me going. That he was the world to me, and I still till this day, when a new year rolls around, I say to her, Nikki, I'm like, I'm living in a year that my dad didn't, and
Yeah.
that bothers me.
Yeah.
When I have a birthday, he's not here. I for 40 years, my dad told me happy birthday,
Yeah.
and now for 12, he has not.
He was
And that's
I only knew him for a very, very short period, but he was like he's a cool dude. He's a really cool dude.
he would do
He was
anything for anybody.
he was like the definition of manly man, but not to the point where he was like a peacocking manly man. Like
Right.
you can have a legit conversation with
Oh,
him,
yeah.
you can physically talk to him, you can be yourself around him. He wasn't going to judge you. He was very, dare I say, liberal when it came to listening to emotions.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like your
No, you're-
typical.
you're right.
It wasn't
You're
your
right.
typical school county Irish dad where he's like, stop being a pussy and stop crying. He was like, you have something wrong, let's talk about it.
well, now that's the
I
way
met
he
him-
was with my friends,
Yeah.
but us
Or
growing
even
up,
your daughters and
right.
your and
well, the girls,
the girls, yeah.
got everything.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. He had
You're
4 boys.
royalty.
He idolized daughters, but
Yeah.
and he never had any of his own. But-
Jesus, what the hell happened there? I mean, for the most, you look at your little family tree there. Like, you had one brother who had a daughter, son, another brother who had 2 sons,
Right.
and then you popped out all girls.
and then a
And
boy.
then Brian and Jordan.
I'm joking.
Big
As I look,
one.
Excuse me?
as I look at Brian, I'm joking. No,
And then I had Jordan, and
Yeah, well,
so
two
it was
boys
Brian
and then-
Jordan, and then 2 girls.
Yeah.
To end it up, and he was.
you're a
my-
girl making machine for a while there.
Absolutely.
Like you,
Well, you know,
the boys just kind of sneak in every now and then.
every
but-
once in a while.
Well,
yeah.
you
Wild card.
go light, and then look what happens. You didn't
Yeah.
knock the balls off them.
Oh my lord!
it's only gonna get worse. Just wait. Yeah. So yeah, she was going through that, and once again, like I said, never missed a beat. And then we talked about it a little bit before so we're sitting at the table now. We probably talked for another 3 hours before we even
Right.
hit record. Because we can't let you in on all the secrets.
It's
but
crazy.
Yeah, it's a winding road, and there's more to this story. Even if you think this is insane, you didn't even hear the beginning part where Brian was a police officer and was struck by a vehicle, and the story of losing his dad. Like that's all on the pilot episode. So I don't want to spoil too much. I want to send you guys to that one. But even before we get into that, I know we on the live stream I put a teaser out there of a story that I guess we have to talk talk
I
about.
gave you aged Jack Daniels.
Aged Jack
one
Daniels.
shot is the equivalent of 3.
And
It
I
was-
drank the handle part of it. Like I
Right.
took a lot.
Oh, I think you drank a little bit more than the handle part.
Yeah.
You were down to the key cut in the bottle.
What are we
Yeah.
talking about?
So
So in the old house, there was in your laundry room,
Yeah.
there was
Shelf.
a
Yeah, we know about the shelf. but
a giant bottle of Jack Daniels. So it was New Year's Eve. I'll tell the story from the beginning. So the New Year's Eve, we were going to go to. The plan was to go to me and Heidi was to go to the house and spend New Year.
but now
New
you have
Year's
to realize this is 2012.
Yeah,
Or, New Year's 2012. I have
Heidi
that-
was just freshly 21.
right, and I have that bottle of Jack Daniels since 1987.
Yes. So we are walking from my parents' house in Monte City to your house on Manoy Street to celebrate New Year's. We left early because I was going to stop at a couple bars and have a bar crawl before we get because I didn't know
Oh,
what the
yeah, I
drinking
remember this
situation
story.
was when we were going to get there because I didn't want to go in front of the kids and drink. I thought like by the time I get there I could sober up and have I never drank with you guys really.
No, we had champagne there, and
But I'm
beer
saying, like, in
and-
general,
right.
like, hanging out at your house wasn't a drinking occasion.
No.
It was more or less like we hung out, we played cards.
Right.
It was
very seldom a drinking.
Yeah,
I'm not a big drinker.
exactly. And
I like
was
to have a good time. But
I
I'm
was
not a-
I was drinking, but not as open as I was telling people. And Heidi was just freshly 21, and she wasn't a drinker to begin with, but she wanted to dabble in the fruits, and
Right.
she didn't dabble very long. Heidi's not a drinker either.
Well, you have to remember, like I said, I was a bouncer,
Mm-hmm.
and then when Heidi left, I was
You're Heidi, not my Heidi.
my Heidi.
Your
When
old
she-
Heidi.
my old Heidi.
Yeah, sorry, we don't want to blur lines
When
here.
when she left, you have to realize I was 30 years old.
Yeah.
And I had gotten married early. I was only 19,
Oh yeah.
and so now here I am, 30. None of my friends are married. I'm working at Alcoa, and I was a bouncer for years. So my rules of bouncing, and I think I could probably find a set of the manuals because I wrote them. Bouncers weren't allowed to drink coffee, cranberry juice, but there was no drinking.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm still friends with some of the guys that I was a bouncer with, and we decide that we're going to start hitting bars. Well, now I've got my freedom. So I was drinking heavy. Then I met Lori, and her first thing to me was, the drinking stops or I do.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. So we come to the house. Well, first off, we stop at the first bar, and it's a private party, so we get kicked out right away. We go to the second bar on the list, which wasn't even on the list, but we're like, fuck it, let's go in there. I'm not going to say what bar it is, but if you're from Monte City, I'm sure you're going to figure out which one we're going to talk about. We walk into the bar. I order Heidi a Long Island iced tea, which was probably not the best choice of drink for someone who's not a drinker. I ordered a beer and 2 shots. I do the 2 shots. I chug half the beer, and then I say, I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick. I walk into the bathroom, and a gentleman follows me in. The gentleman says,
I remember this now.
the gentleman says to me, hey, bro, do you want to do some coke? And I said, I'm good. I don't do that. And he says, well,
now I don't know if you're a snitch or not, so I need you to at least do a bump so I know you're not going to tell on me.
What's a bump?
A bump is a tiny bit of coke you just do just to
Show that you're not a snitch.
No, well,
Well, just to get like a top
it'll fluff
five.
you up a little
Yeah.
bit. but
yeah, just to kind of keep you lively, I guess. And
if you're feeling good from alcohol, it will waken you right up. But
it'll actually sober you up. Yeah. Not that I would know. I've
you
never
could
done
start
coke.
drinking again
Yeah.
and not even know that you had drank before. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
So I didn't see this gentleman, but all I said to him while I was peeing in the urinal is, if you're not out of this bathroom by the time I put my dick away, we're going to have a problem. And he said, I guess we're going to have a problem. So I never really even put my thing away. I think I put it away halfway, but I don't think I zipped. I definitely didn't zip, and I didn't wash my hands.
that is not sanitary.
Well,
Well, it
at
wasn't
that
about
moment,
being
washing
sanitary.
hands was not really a.
So I let's say if I did wash my hands, I dried them on his jacket because I turned around and this gentleman was standing there and he was wearing a big puffy coat, which made him look. To this day, I've never seen this gentleman ever before again in my life. I may have, I don't remember. Once again, I'm kind of fucked up, and I hit him with my hands and grabbed his chest, and we went through the salon bathroom doors into the stripper pole that's kind of in the middle. Not really a stripper pole, but it's called the stripper pole. And I kind of fold him over the and by the way, he was all jacket, no body. So like I saw, like I hit him harder than I needed to because I thought he was a bigger gentleman. And when I hit him, all the air of the jacket went out, and then I hit him, and then all the air of him went out, so he was even tinier. And I don't remember if I threw a knee or not, but I remember I might have I threw another shot just to kind of keep him down, and then I looked around the bar and I was like, I'm fucked, because it's that type of bar at that point in time and of the generation gap. It's not as bad now, we'll say, but it was one of those times where you wouldn't have done this in a normal circumstance in that bar at that point in time.
Right.
So I said, check, please. You know what I mean? Like, so Heidi sees this, pays for we actually paid right then and there for the drink. I said, drink it or lose it. She goes, what? I said, because we're leaving. We have to leave. And because she's seen kind of what happened. And I was like, drink or we're leaving.
Just direct the dealer.
Yeah. So she chugs her Long Island iced tea. Heidi doesn't drink. She just drank a Long Island iced tea. There's not one drop of iced tea in a Long Island iced tea.
It's like straight alcohol.
It's 7 different types of liquor that somehow taste like iced tea after you make it.
Oh.
Yeah. Now you know. So when you get older.
The more you know.
Yeah.
The physics of alcohol.
Yeah. So she chugs it. As soon as she walks out the bar, she is completely noodle-legged. She can't walk in her heels. So we're walking in the snow down the alley. We're literally or 2 alleys away from your house.
Right. Now people are going to know where
Yeah. He also lived by the library, if you really want to paint this picture. So we get about a block and a half head start until people realize what happened. We made quick time. We get about a block and a half away, and then all I hear is, "Where are you going? Get back here!" And I turn, and it was men and women following us. So they have enough for me, and they have enough for Heidi. And Heidi doesn't fight. And she can't walk. So I am literally like picking Heidi up and we're like stumbling down the alley. I said, when we get to the corner, we got to book because they're now coming. So we get to the corner, we get in the house, and I literally remember looking through the door. I'm like, hi, everyone, click. And I'm peeking. And we see the mob of people run by. And like, what happened? I told the story. And he goes, you know what you need in this situation? I said, what? He goes, you probably need another shot. And I was like, you're 100% correct. So he pulls out this holy grail of Jack Daniels from the top shelf. Like, he pulled it off and it went,
Spotlight.
Still has a glow to it.
yeah. And he's like, now this has been aged now for,
At that time, it was a couple of teens in years.
yeah. And I drank way more than I should have, and I don't remember the ball. I don't remember much of anything. But I do remember me and Heidi now walking home. I remember her telling me.
No,
we
wait a
walked
minute
home.
now. You have to go back to the part
jumped
for
the
how
part.
much you had.
I drank a lot, but
Not just that.
Did I
You
have
were
more?
drinking alcohol in between there.
I don't remember any of that.
I was drinking tequila because that's my drink of choice.
I don't. Was I doing tequila too?
2 of them, what you did with me.
Fuck me.
But
I didn't puke though.
no.
I did not puke.
You were actually inspirational that night. I mean, you had a certain demiquois about yourself.
I learned I had a
like
problem
Shakespeare.
I learned I had a problem probably then. Heidi at this point is already upstairs puking. Heidi's very uncomfortable around people that she's not used to. Because that was one of the first times Heidi was really
probably like maybe the third or fourth time we had met her.
Maybe even less. Probably
it might have been.
Yeah. So Heidi's first time ever upstairs throwing up, and I do remember her telling a story. I wish she was here to tell it, but she went up to use the bathroom before she got sick, and you guys kept walking in the one of you kept walking in the bathroom. Because that was the policy kind of in that house where there was like no
Open
closed
door
door.
policy.
No
I remember
closed door
I remember
policy.
trying to use the bathroom once or twice and had to like pee and hold the door because like little girls are coming in while I'm peeing and to there they're like, what's going on? This is the time we have conversation.
Curiosity.
So Heidi is trying to pee, and in retrospect, it might have been you.
Okay, wow, so rude. I'm hurt.
Was coming in, and I just remember Heidi was like, I was trying to pee, and these little girls are there, and I don't know the rules between peeing and around little kids. Yeah. So then she's puking, and Heidi's upstairs.
Still happens today.
Yeah, Heidi's upstairs throwing up, and I guess one of you curiosity kids are going in there like. And then I remember
Okay, it was definitely me because I remember that.
Yeah, and then she comes running down like, the brown one's puking upstairs. Oh, you didn't say the brown one, but I just made that to be funnier. But but she's puking, and I'm just like, bah, ha, ha. Like,
But
I
now
remember the door being
everybody
closed
has to
and she's
understand
crying.
Heidi looks like Pocahontas, a dead spitting image
She
of
was a
Pocahontas.
princess
The
to
Pocahontas that
Heidi
you would
looks
think.
Hispanic,
she
but
was.
she's Asian. We'll just put it out. Like,
And
yeah.
the
She was
girls
like a
would call her
princess.
Pocahontas. So
She was a princess to us.
She did.
We've never seen something so pretty.
Yeah, Pocahontas or Jasmine. That she got either one of those
Yeah.
growing up. Yeah, she's way too attractive for me. She still hasn't realized it. Thank God. It's been 13 years. I think she realized she's stuck. We have a mortgage payment now. There's no running away. I can't say there's children binding us. We have a dog. We can't leave the dog. There's no splitting up. You don't divorce when you have a kid. Do you have a dog? No. So she's puking. I'm downstairs. Keep drinking. Terrible in retrospect. She probably should have realized then I was a terrible choice for a companion because I didn't even go up and check on her.
Lori did.
Yeah, Lori did, and the girl you did 14 times.
I was a child.
Yeah.
Don't remember most of it.
Sneezing in the background.
And I'm down there like, whoa! So we walk home, and I just remember Heidi telling me, I said, oh shit, I got to keep it together. The cops are coming. And she was, how do you know the cops are coming? I said, I could hear by the engine. And she's like, you're a fucking idiot. And a cop drove by, and she's like, how the fuck did he know that? But, you're drunk, and then you got to like, oh shit.
You got superpowers, don't you?
Keep it together. Keep it together. Don't want to get a public and drunkenness or whatever the hell it's called. So, burp. So we get back to the house, and I have to pee.
On the side of the fridge.
The bottle opener.
A Corona's bottle opener.
Yeah, there's no twist up.
Shows how much I drink Coronas. So we get to the bathroom. We get to the house. We get to my parents' house, and I am gone.
He was gone when he left.
Destroyed, and the cold walk home didn't help. So in my eyes,
Thank you.
I'm doing an amazing job peeing. Right, I'm doing a great job. I don't know what she said, but
I don't know. She's saying that.
oh, you're gonna chew on pretzel? Listen. If you're gonna eat, just do this. Look at the mic, and then when you want to talk, just hit up on it. You won't know. Nobody will hear you crunching on chips.
And I was so scared. I was so.
So
so scared
listen,
about my
it's
mitt.
very loose here. So I guess when I was trying to pee, I was swaying a little bit. I had a sway to me, which then when you sway when you're peeing, I think maybe 2 drops hit the toilet. And I was going. It was everywhere. So and we're not. I mean, maybe a couple months or a year into dating at this point.
Might have been.
I don't know. Not at the point where someone should help you pee. I don't think in a relationship. But I remember she grabbed my situation, we'll say, to help me pee. And I just remember, I guess in my drunk brain, I was like, excuse me, I'm an adult. I know how to use this. And she's standing to my left. And I guess I wanted then to have a conversation with her that you shouldn't have to do that, and when I did have this conversation, I'm still using the restroom. I'm still peeing, and then turn to the left to have a conversation with her while I'm still in flow, and she's now getting hosed, and she's like, "Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with you?" So she just pushes me by my shoulders, which I fall backwards and bust through my parents' bathroom closet, and she is now angry because she just got peed on.
And now he's finishing peeing in the closet.
And I am peeing on myself. It's in the air. It's on me. I'm soaked in my own pee, and I cannot get up. So I think I took a quick nap there. Heidi went in the room and changed and got situated because she was now covered in pee. And then came back and got me, and then changed me and put me to bed like the child I was. I don't know. She may
have known at that point she was a keeper,
and we did, and that's why we are still together after this many years. So my lesson,
big time,
my lesson to you, I don't know if it would work for you two, but maybe you, if you find a woman that you think you really love, drunk pee on her. If she sticks around, you know it's love.
Do I have to be drunk?
Torture that woman.
Does he
and
have to be drunk to pee on
for
her?
13 years.
I still torture that woman. I still mess with her at all costs.
And how she is still with you is beyond me. And I say to Nick all the time, they have to be in total love because nobody else would tolerate that.
Dude, I get bored and I'm just like, how can I fuck with her? But
she does the same to you though too, a little bit.
It's like I think she tries more psychological things.
You hurt the girl by scaring her in the shower.
I did. I scared her one time in the shower to the point where she fell and she busted her elbow a little bit. Not like bad, but like she fell in the shower. But she got me one time in the shower too. She made me fall in the shower. She like peeked her head through, and I was like washing my eyes. And I was like, "Ah!" And I fell. Yeah. No, the hurt in the shower is when we first moved to our new house, and we had a Brita water filter, and we didn't know our new fridge, if you put it in the very back, would freeze it. So I'm like, oh, I have this really cold pitcher of water. I'm gonna dump it on her while she's in the shower. And I go open. I'm like, this is really fucking heavy. And I go up and over the shower. And as I dump this much, now you can't visually see this, but a cup full of water comes out, and the rest is fucking
ice.
an iceberg. And I crush her with this giant piece of ice. Yeah, she laughed it off, but she was probably not happy. But
again, no other woman would have laughed at
yeah,
her. She'd be dead.
One time she
would have been castrated.
She was very sick. We'll say she was up in the bathroom, not throwing up. All right, she was pooping a lot the one night. Her stomach is hurting. she had the poops, and I thought it would be funny to draw us. Now she's blind. She can't see without glasses, which I never let her wear her glasses, so she doesn't really see what I look like. So I drew a spider on the toilet paper. So when she pulled the toilet paper, I pulled out the toilet paper, I drew the spider, and then I rolled it back up. So when she pulled the toilet paper, it looked like a spider came off it. Now you're talking about a girl who can't see, who is suffering from arachnophobia and diarrhea, and now she pulls the toilet paper and there's a spider on it, and she's like, is that what I think it is? And yeah, that was not a good night. Yeah, so we have fun. We have a good time. I think I did something to her today that was really funny, but I forget. My favorite thing is I scream. I just go, Heidi! And she goes, what? And I just don't answer. Right? Now we play this game where she tries to guess what I think she wants, what she thinks I want, so she just brings it. So she doesn't have to go back down to get what I was really looking for. And she nailed it today. I left my Nintendo Switch downstairs. And I actually wanted a cup of water, but I was playing a game, so I just did my jerk, like, "Hey, Heidi!" And she walked up with the Nintendo Switch, and I was like, "That was so close, but I wanted water." She goes, "You're getting it from the bathroom."
You would do the same thing to Amber, though. The girl would go out when you got to the house. She could have been blocks away.
Amber would have been out with friends on the east end of town, and you lived in the west end, and I would call her and be like, you need to come home right now. There's an emergency. Now, I may have used cancer to my advantage, but Lori was totally game for it. And I'd be like, "You need to come home right now. It's serious." She's like, "Oh my God, Lori, cancer!" Runs home, and Lori's like, "He needs iced tea." She's like, "I fucking hate you." Yeah,
Just to fill his glass away.
yeah. It
When
tasted.
Amber like moved out and we had to start doing that, I'm so glad he still doesn't pick it up, and now he's on alcohol.
You can't fill it
No
up.
more
Yeah.
Gears tea.
I'm gonna be honest. You guys do a great job, but for some reason, when Amber pours, the only person on planet that pours iced tea better than Amber is Heidi. Like, it just tastes different. It just a different taste. I haven't experienced an Amber iced tea in a long time.
I don't
I'll
think
remember
that's
that.
our fault. I
I
think
don't
it's more
think
of the
she would do
Gears
it for you
problem.
now. I mean, she may. You never know.
Does anyone have her number?
Call her up right now.
I do.
Like,
Do you think she'd come?
call her. Somebody call her right
It's
now.
late.
Get her on the phone.
Yeah,
She has the kiddos, dude.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Oh, she has children.
She
We
has children, yeah.
be adults here. Fucking
We're speaking
Times
with
have
you.
changed.
The hell's an adult?
times have changed. She can't leave two kids that can pour iced tea. But it would be amazing if she
If she did.
It would be really fun if she did. I should just message her from a random number one night. And be
You
like,
should.
I need iced tea. I don't even have her number. I don't have anyone's numbers.
I
Really.
will gladly give it to you.
Yeah. Just message her like, hey, by the way,
I need iced tea.
I need this. Just send her the address. And be like, what's this? I'm like, I need iced tea. Like, Google drop her.
She'll know exactly.
Google drop. What's the new thing you guys are talking about now?
Airdrop.
Airdropping.
Airdrop. So that's an iPhone
You can't
thing.
do it unless
Yeah.
you're like in proximity of a person.
Yeah.
How close proximity?
Like,
Like,
Well, I was halfway across the cafeteria when this.
so
came,
100.
but-
I mean, I think it's 100 feet, something like that. It's not.
But your airdrop has
extremely
to be
far.
turned on. Like,
Yeah, you have
it's
to have an
something you
air-
have.
So you just have to accept weirdness.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
yeah.
it'll
Like for
say
my
that.
phone,
No, no.
like,
If their airdrop is on, it's coming in.
There's no stopping it.
Oh no.
oh, no, you can accept or deny it, but on my phone, for some reason, it doesn't show the picture like her phone.
Like a
Mine has-
preview.
well, you have
Yeah.
that. You the preview. You have the previews turned off for text
and I'm
message.
like,
Oh, I turn previews off on my
because you
phone
can.
because
So do I.
Me
when-
and
you
Madison
never know
used to
what's
like
coming in.
send.
because when phones
airdrops to
first
each
came
other.
out, I didn't know that was a feature.
Mm-hmm.
And I've left my phone when I was at work. I left my phone on my desk and I was working, and everyone's crowded around my phone, and pictures came in, and you didn't even need to unlock my phone to see them.
I had the same incident.
Yeah, so I was like, how do I turn that off, gentlemen? And by the way, that's good for me, right?
The guy that's seen the photo of mine that came in, well, not of mine, from my significant other.
Have you met in person since then?
Yes.
To that person.
Yes.
We just like high
But
fived.
he's like, Brian, I swear to God, I didn't see nothing, but I'm going to show you what you need to do so that don't happen. Then you obviously seen something.
Yeah.
But he was playing nice.
oh yikes!
So he knows Nikki's name and address
Oh, yeah.
and social security number.
Not social security
All
number.
right.
But
Listen, if you start-
definitely,
if you
but
use this-
definitely her date of birth.
I'm trying to use my pervert
I don't
mind
get
to find
that
out what
joke, but okay.
Birthday suit.
No, I say like name and address is usually like the top half, and if they know like your social security number, but if they know
Oh,
your-
no, it was just name and address.
if they know your birth date, I think you're
No, it was
you're
name
really in a realm.
It was a name and address.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah.
Name and address.
Wow, never would have got that one.
I just made it up as we went. That was just something I completely
That
winged.
worked out, though.
That is
Yeah.
I get what you're saying now.
Yeah, see how I can make analogies like that. Yeah. All right, so let's get Lori then calls us up one day. Obviously talk to you and then
Right.
talk to the family, and then I get the phone call like, "Hey, you need to come over." And it was the only time I didn't have to get picked up.
Right.
I came. The tone was different, so I showed up, and she told us that the chemo, the radiation, it was done.
Right.
We're no longer going to do this anymore. There's nothing else I can do.
Right.
I'm just going to kind of ride this out.
Right.
And we all kind of just like, okay.
That was 2 days after Thanksgiving.
2 days after. Actually, I don't even. It all just blends together for me.
yeah.
Yeah. How now? Just to kind of let the people know at home, you guys kind of did your ASLs when we started. How old were you at this point when your mother's going through this?
When she first got diagnosed, I was 4, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And
Holy
then-
shit.
Yeah, and then because I don't remember anything before 4, and then when she did pass away, I was 9. 9.
Yep.
Yeah.
9.
That would make me 5 when she got diagnosed, and then
You guys
I
are a
was
year ahead of each other.
11
Yeah.
months apart. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all 11 months apart.
I,
And
I'm,
then-
I'm
Technically,
I don't even
by
know my own
law-
mother's age, so don't
They're
take
technically
offense.
by law considered twins because they're within the 12-month window.
Really?
Yep.
Yes.
But we don't look like it, so.
Shut up. Yes, you do.
And then I was 10 when she passed.
Yeah.
And I'm
And
17 now. So.
then her oldest is Jordan. He
Yeah.
was
he
a little old. 2
Yes.
years older.
No,
No,
We're
we're
all
all
11
11
months
months.
apart.
They're all
Oh.
11 months apart.
Each.
Holy fuck,
They
man.
were busy.
Man,
They were busy.
didn't
Did
even
not
look-
have a TV in their bedroom.
you didn't even let the stitches heal.
Her shaking her head.
Russell Love Muscle.
The love muscle was an effect.
Imagine how many I'd have.
Oh, yeah, turn this on.
Huh?
Huh?
I said, can you imagine how many I'd have?
If she said, I hope you heard that. You're very soft spoken for a dude.
Doing homework.
What are you working on?
She is doing
Anatomy.
She's doing her online because she's going to be an RN shortly. So they're at home too, just like the schools.
Are you like talking to people right now, like a live chat? Oh,
No, that's during the day.
Yeah.
we could have some fun with that.
She spends between 11 and 13 hours in that chair a day. Honest to God.
Fuck that. I'd sit there about that long to do edits. So my whole day tomorrow is going to be fucking editing, and then sit down and do another podcast to edit again. So I'm going to have a long.
Days I graduate.
So you really said like, nah, quarantine. Never heard of her. Like that's really what you said.
What do you mean?
You're like podcast after podcast after podcast.
No, most of them I do all my
He's doing
podcasts over
phone
the phone.
interviews, yeah.
So this is the only one.
Aw,
This is
that's
the one I
boring.
have done.
But we're not
face-to-face.
infected. He's not infected. We're
At least we don't. And I'm drinking alcohol, and Nikki's an RN. She can attest. Alcohol helps. I don't know if that's true, but we're going for it.
Not use those credentials.
Yeah.
We're gonna use those credentials.
Is that turned on? No, it's not turned on.
Oh.
Now we're on. All right.
I'm not an RN. You cannot use those credentials yet.
How did you turn yours off? You could hear yourself earlier.
I think
Turn me off
I think
as
it
a
was
friend.
turned on when she was. It was turned off when she was eating chips, and then I didn't realize she turned it back on, and I turned it back off.
Wow, welcome
Beers
to the
happen.
podcast.
Yeah, beers happen.
welcome to the
There you
podcast.
You would think I would know how to use my own equipment.
but you don't.
No.
he needs a technical assistant. Are you applying?
Oh, I'll apply.
You want to learn how to do video edits? I don't know how to do
Oh
them
my
anymore.
gosh.
Heck yeah. I
She's
totally
good at
do
doing
that.
videos.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you should see
Yeah.
her.
She
You should
does.
see. She has. She'll.
You have to know
I don't want to
thousands
say.
She
I
has
don't want
a
to say
she
she'll
has
give
a
you
broad
resume.
range of she'll show you her portfolio.
I don't.
I
wa-
have a good portfolio.
I don't want to say her.
Oh, my.
portfolio.
We're not going to even dwell into that.
We'll give you the ones and zeros.
Yeah.
Ew.
No, thank you.
I'll get it.
Yikes.
It's a data thing.
So, you don't know what binary is?
Or binary.
Binary?
Yeah. That's how Helen Keller
Ones and
goes.
zeros is how coding's wrote for
How
computers and
codings
stuff.
wrote ones
I
and
legit
zeros.
did. I did binary code for an art piece for school.
Everything you see is ones and zeros.
Unless you're blind.
Yeah, unless you're blind.
Then you always-
Don't
Then
say
everything
it.
you hear
Don't
is ones
say
and
it.
zeros.
That it's dots.
Yo, now be nice.
I'm being nice. That's a true statement. If you're
I
if you're
understand.
blind, then it's dots.
Oh my.
I don't get it.
Braille is
Braille.
dots.
You should show Tony that picture that they have down at the school.
Oh yeah, I love making a fool of people.
You have to realize that they put up for the bathroom.
No,
Is
it's
it the
an
bathroom?
No, it was an
Oh, it's
elevator.
So, the school don't want to expend all their money.
Mhm.
God forbid we buy 3 signs instead of
Or like
one.
Photocopy
But
they
by-
sign.
photocopied it. How are they going to feel the photocopy?
Yeah, it was
Braille
legit
part's
a piece
copied
of
too
paper.
as well.
It was legit a piece of paper. I have a video.
Did they at least pop,
No,
punch
No.
the-
but they'll spend
Nope.
money. They'll spend
They
money
laminated
on
it and hung that puppy
TVs.
up.
And Spartacus.
Yes, they did. Love that. I went to feel it and all to see. I was like, oh my god.
Hey, let's remember, you can fix dumb, you can't fix stupid.
I used to coach there, and I just listen.
I was like, I can't wait for the blind people to find the elevator.
Yeah.
They're still looking.
You know, I had to use the elevator one time when I went to school there because I thought I broke my ankle, and here I didn't, and that's kind of when I found I have a disorder.
Are you a hypochondriac?
No.
No, I'm hyper elasticity of the joints. So I thought I broke where a normal person would have broken their ankle. I didn't. My ankle dislocated, and then popped back in socket, but it swelled up to the size of it if my
Being
ankle
broken.
would have been broken or if I would have tore ligaments. But
Probably
I
would
didn't.
have been better if it broke.
Yeah. And I remember I had to use the elevator, and the one kid's like, "Yo, I'm gonna go with you with the elevator ride." I'm like, "I don't even know you." He's like, "We're doing it," and I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I want to show you something." And I was like, "Okay." So we get in the elevator. And he goes, "We're going up." And I said, "Obviously, because we're on the bottom floor." So we go up, and he stops it. What the fuck are you doing? And then he hit open doors, and there's the whole sectional wall. I probably shouldn't tell you this. The whole so when you go in the elevator and you hit stop and open, there's like people write their names
I'm gonna go write my name. I don't care
I'm gonna
anything
do
about
that.
this
I'm gonna do
quarantine.
I have 1 more year left. I'm gonna do that.
But you need to have access to the elevator, don't
Oh,
you?
Their- access.
Their elevators are not locked with a key.
No,
It's not
It
locked. with
used
a-
to be.
It's not anymore.
not anymore. Because I had to use it. Cause
Now
I
the
broke
monorail
So
ones
any
are-
random
Yeah,
scumbag
I
can
used to
that
get on
elevator.
the elevator with this girl named Avery. She broke her leg. She put a wrap on it, and she was like, "You want to get on the elevator?" I was like, "Yeah." I did that for like months.
Did you write your name in there?
No,
We had a
I
key.
just know about it now. Like what?
yeah.
We had a key.
What?
What's it?
I had a key at Chena Valley.
Yeah, you had to get a key.
Yeah, Monoway has a key.
They
for
gave
their
me a key.
elevators.
Does Monterey have an elevator?
Yeah, they do. By the elementary, like.
I thought the
cafeterias.
entire school was one floor.
You have to realize
That's new.
You weren't in the
Has to
elementary
be.
part because
I was.
were you?
I went to elementary school
Yeah,
in Monterey.
it's-
Yeah.
There's
Like
I thought that
towards,
entire
like
school
when
was
you're
one floor.
walking towards.
It's not
like,
new.
when
It's
you're
an
coming
old
from,
elevator,
like,
dude.
the middle school
It's been there.
cafeteria
one
to the
floor, too.
elementary cafeteria
No,
to
no, there's
towards
a
the high
second
school.
floor.
There's a hallway there.
Where is the
Going
second
through like
floor
the
located?
entire school.
Oh, there is an
and
elevator
then those
there.
back stairs.
By the lunch lady.
Yeah.
There's not much use for it. Do you know
I
what
think it
mean?
was
Like,
most. I think it was mostly put in for the so that like if the lunch had to bring food to another rooms,
Right.
it's over by the lunch. Yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
about that elevator.
It's by all of the.
Never
cabs.
rode it ever.
I did.
I don't
feel
think they
like
let the
that's
students
schools.
use that.
No.
Mhm. No, they did.
One floor.
To
Yeah,
go
like,
where?
yeah,
When-
like what if a kid was in a
When,
wheelchair?
when Jared Spaltai.
It's one area. You fucking
When-
figure it out.
When
Who's
Jared
Jared Spaltai?
Spaltai broke
Who is
his
that?
Oh yeah.
leg
Okay.
behind our house, he used the elevator.
Oh, he snapped that ankle. Bro.
Yeah, I know. I know the intermediate school, the old intermediate school, did not have an
No.
elevator.
No, neither did ours up here.
Yeah,
When it was Lincoln.
Then how would
Elementary
kids who
and
broke their foot or were
they
in wheelchairs?
it
You're
took
going
them.
up
It took
the
them
steps.
years to put like a chair lift. In for they built a ramp at the old elementary school. The intermediate school they built a ramp so you can go up a ramp to get to the front door. Then they had a chairlift that would get you up to the main level, and then from there they're just like,
You're on your own.
yeah, like all your classes are in the gym. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like you're just not. They didn't do anything else after that.
Well, those were all pre-built prior.
Oh
to
my god, that
the-
school was a
the
bomb shelter.
Disability Act.
I think that school
Oh,
was
It has a
bomb
bomb shelter
shelter.
in the
like
basement.
that
of
basement
it.
is legit
It
a bomb
still
shelter.
does, and it's still active.
Wait,
What
the old
school are we
Monoway.
talking about?
The one with like
You
1,000
never went
steps.
to that, honey. That was
Oh,
long
that
gone.
yeah,
I was
I
the
always
last-
wanted to go in there.
I was the
also
last
scary.
class that was in there.
Percy always would
Percy
tell
went
me
to
about
school
those
there,
stories.
yeah.
Those steps in the front were a death trap.
I watched a kid go down there on a binder. This one kid fucking took another kid, grabbed his binder and threw it down the stairs, and he threw it, and another kid was just minding his business walking up the stairs, and it caught his foot, and he rode that shit down like a surfboard.
It's not funny, but it is. You have to picture it.
And this wasn't the wooden ones; this was the concrete ones.
Yeah.
Do they have wooden ones?
They built a set of wooden ones next to the
Next
concrete ones.
when the concrete ones started to fail. Yeah.
And the
Isn't
wooden
that
ones were even
ironic?
scarier because if it
Because-
rained, they were like fuck. It was like a slip and slide.
It was like a mirror that was
Imagine
wet
running
that
that.
you had to walk on.
Yeah, and there was like, I still know people who use those steps. Like we used to use those steps as exercise. If you played middle school basketball, you had to run those steps.
I remember
And there was
always,
two
like,
sides. There was one side up and one side
Side
down.
down. Yeah.
I
walking
used
over
to-
that way for baseball.
I would never run that. I'd be like, I can't run.
You had no
I don't
choice.
know
That
how
was
to.
what you had to do for
Yeah.
a drill.
We might have been. There's a reason why Monterey was the top ranked basketball team for a long.
Because they had
long
amazing
time.
legs,
Yeah.
and their
Cardio.
their stamina was built up. Their cardio because of those steps.
Yeah, that's fucking. That shit sucked. There used to be a way that you can go up the mountains on the side of the school and go up that way. And we used to do that all the time. Where the smokers used to hang out. Man, we're really deep in this podcast, and I feel like we haven't accomplished anything. It's all right.
What would you accomplish in a podcast? We're doing as much as we can.
I know. We're just.
We're talking.
I usually have a structure, but it's way out the window.
What is your structure?
We have never had
Explain it.
structure when you and I spoke. We jump
I know.
around on subjects like
You initially wanted this podcast to be like we have a debate on social standards, and I think that was
Please
just
don't do that.
Yeah, listen.
Why do you
we'll
speak
save
like
that for another time.
Yeah,
We'll
You
do
guys
it
make
in,
me
like,
nervous
4
when you
years.
like get into that stuff.
Why
I
we
get
don't
really bad
hate
anxiety.
each other?
It gets like really
it gets
heated.
Real.
it
It's
does
like,
get heated.
I have strong
He
opinions.
gets heated, and I
I
laugh.
I know.
I get strong
like,
opinions.
why? Why is that? Why is that your opinion? And Dad's like, because that's the facts. It's not an opinion.
It's okay. I had an
And so he's
opinion
like,
about something.
I educate myself.
I had an opinion, and Dad told me I was a Democrat.
I get to the point where he tells his side, and I listen to it, and then he keeps telling me, and I listen to it, and then I give up, and I get bored, and then I laugh, and then I just egg him on.
Me knowing Dad's boiling point, I'm like,
Oh, you should listen to her, dude. She really does egg him on too.
Oh,
She's like,
bad.
is that
She
really
learned,
Really
true?
she
bad.
learned from the best.
She is. It's.
They're too much alike, though.
I'm
when
going
they fight
into
with each other.
I'm going
Really?
into law
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
a reason, you know.
It's a
She'll debate
counterpoint.
until she dies.
I know there was a point there where you were like team everything he thought too.
Oh. No.
Listen, I remember 4 years ago.
Four?
It's coming up on it, right?
Yeah.
The end of the 4 years. When that you were there with your little
4
hat.
years.
You were there with your hat, and you were there in front of that TV, and you were like, "Go DT."
Oh yeah,
Donald Trump?
Donald
Well, she's
Trump.
still a Donald Trump supporter.
I fell asleep during that election, actually.
Not even a lie.
He's gonna win again
Yes,
Oh
he
Yeah,
yeah,
he's gonna
absolutely.
because he has no competition.
Well, he didn't
Yeah.
even when Bernie was in there. Let's be honest. I mean,
Yeah, I love Bernie as a person.
Alright,
and I'm not
Bernie Sanders,
slamming
I'm
Bernie.
signing
I'm
him.
not.
Bernie's-
He did what he did.
Bernie's first campaign, I think he would have been more of a competition than Hillary.
Well,
Wait, who are
you
you
have
for?
to realize something
I'm
now.
for neither. I don't like.
You have to realize something now because and,
I don't
and
think
we're not going to make.
I don't
this,
think we need a president to make our country function.
we're not going to be. We're not
We
going to
need a
be in
queen.
this.
No,
We're not
I'm
going to
joking.
start
I
a
love
political
queen.
debate. But
No.
you have to realize something with Bernie, and it wasn't until he ran this second time that I'm sitting here. Now you realize I have a lot of time, so I'm reading.
Yeah.
I'm looking up stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I fact check people. I'm an asshole like that, and I don't mind. I don't mind being that guy.
You fact check Trump a lot.
And
Doesn't
How's
say
that
it.
working?
There it is. It's coming.
well, no, we're not going to have a we're not going to have a political
That's the way you
debate.
said it.
But
Yeah, that's where I throw the gas on the fire.
But well, no, I don't. I've never sat here and said that Trump was perfect. But let's.
How
let's-
much is left on that you're gonna light it up? Just let it go, bro.
Let it be. Let it die.
Like a Siggy bum.
I've never sat here
you
and
know what
said
Siggy
that,
bum is? Like the people who walk around and pick them up off the ground.
Oh my gosh.
I've
That I
never
would
sat
not
here and
do.
said that Trump was perfect. But I just legitimize things. But I'm talking about Bernie now. I don't want to get into a political.
Well, here's
part of
here,
it.
here, you want
Here's
to hear a
the part I wanna
compliment?
get
I'm gonna give
about
I'm gonna give a
first.
Trump
Go ahead.
compliment real quick. I'm gonna give a Trump compliment, and I'm not anti-Trump, but I honestly think this is one thing that I think Trump has campaigned for a while. Even though he didn't meet, she got to chill for that's how confident. I mean,
Give me that smoke.
one of the things he said on his campaign is that we need to rely more on our own country when it comes to making supplies and
Supplies
making
and-
things and
and
making
products
and
and-
products
right.
and if anything that this quarantine has taught us as a country is we rely too heavily on foreign
aid,
countries
right.
to make us our own shit.
Right. Our imported goods are now
Corporate-
72% of our
corporate.
market.
Now, on the same token, his biggest problem is the same thing as well, because if you look at his clothing line and all, most of it's made in China, or not China.
No, some of it was made in China.
It was made in
his
Mexico.
His ties were made in Mexico, China.
Yeah.
I think there was some in Japan, Taiwan.
Corporate greed is disgusting, and this virus has shown.
And I have no ill intent about that. Like when somebody brings that up as a point,
Yeah.
and I say to them, no, you're absolutely right.
yeah.
He wasn't a politician at the time. And he, as a businessman, was smart. He was going to go where
Yeah.
it was cheapest and going to make him the most money. I worked for a company that we used to make our own pig, our own ingot. And then we realized that we're making it here for 94 cents a pound. Making it here. But yet we have to turn around and sell it at a profit. When we could make the same thing in Australia for 14 cents. Because that's the only place you can get the dirt that makes aluminum.
Yeah.
So, I understand from an economic point of view. Yeah. I do believe that now, there's knockoffs to his stuff, like the Magma hat. The ones that he bought for his rallies and made and paid for, they were made in the USA.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, he's running for president. He's going to do that. He's going to say, well, look, my product's American made. He's not dumb.
Yeah.
Well, then you see some of them that people come up, well, they'll post a picture. It's made in China. Yeah, well, that's a knockoff, dude. Where did you get it at? Well, I bought it online. Do you think that they're actually, just because they say that they're representing Trump, that he's getting that money?
Yeah. Not all Confederate flags
No.
are made down south.
Right.
Oh
So,
my god.
I mean, I ordered mine and it still never showed up. But anyway,
Which blows my fucking mind. You never even visited the South on vacation,
I've been to every state except for Alaska and Hawaii.
and you're just like, man, I love that Confederate flag.
Well, I love it because of its history and its meaning.
He does have it tattooed on his back.
I do have a tattoo of a Confederate flag on my back. I've had it
Oh
there
my
since
God,
I'm
I forgot
19 years
about
old.
that.
Yikes!
I have it there since I'm 19 years old.
It's getting covered up.
By
But,
what? Oh.
Thank you.
Oh.
But I mean,
What are you doing?
I don't want to get into like that kind of bit. But back to Bernie. I don't want to change the subject.
My headset is
under my chair and it was choking me out.
Back to Bernie.
I'm good to go.
The problem that I've seen now that I'm looking at stuff and you can actually start seeing.
Yeah.
And I got downloads to show her and this and that. You know, his first campaign, I thought, okay, here's a guy that's running for president. And this is before Trump was even in. And, you know, at that time you had what? Hillary Rodham Clinton. We didn't have a Joe Biden then. We had, who else was on that ticket? I don't even remember. It was Hillary, it was Bernie. But, I mean, they were the two front runners.
Yeah.
For the majority
I can't remember who the other one was.
And, I mean...
Ted Cruz? Was it Ted Cruz?
Well, Ted Cruz was on Trump's side. I'm talking about on the Democratic side.
Yeah.
I can't remember who else was over there. But irregardless, so you have Hillary, you have Bernie. They were the two front runners. And Hillary wanted it that bad she could taste it. I mean, she was going tooth and nail for whatever reason, you know. So then when you seen his numbers climbing back in 2016, 15, you know, you seen his numbers climbing.
Because he was getting the young vote.
Right. And he was. He literally was.
The young, the black, and the Hispanic vote.
That's who was carrying him. That was his constituents. And, you know, she was not appealing to any of those. I mean, just the stuff she was saying. And, you know, she didn't know she was being recorded sometimes, just like Trump didn't when sometimes
she
some
was
of the things
she was a flip-flopper.
Right. She would say whatever fit the scenario. Bernie's been saying the same thing for 40 years.
Yeah.
But the problem is, and here's the thing that I realized after this election.
Like Bernie is probably going to be one of the last politicians who didn't win. Who, if you go back and look at him throughout history, like he was at black rallies.
That's
he
what
was
I'm saying,
he was where he wasn't just talk. He literally stood up for what he believed in.
Right.
Where most politicians like Hillary was like, "Oh, Hillary, you're for gay rights." She was 100%. But 2 years ago she wasn't. Exactly.
Right.
Where Bernie stood by his beliefs. You know what I
Right.
mean?
I mean,
all do that.
I mean, my biggest problem with Bernie now, and not because I'm a Trump supporter or a Trumpinite or whatever the hell you want to call me.
Remember, we weren't going to do this, but no, this is
I'm
healthy.
just saying.
This is healthy.
This isn't a political debate.
No,
this
no,
is just me
100%.
giving you an opinion on something. If you look at the 16 and what happened to him, I said to her at that time, they screwed that man.
Yeah, the Democratic Party.
The Democratic Party screwed him.
Fraud. It was fraud.
Right. They switched votes from him to her to carry her through.
And that was proven in a WikiLeaks.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you watch it this time.
Hackers pretty much proved it.
So now you watch it this time, and you see what's happening. Now, mind you, in the midst of all this, we end up having this right before election time. We have this pandemic that comes out. I get that. Okay. Lo and behold, Bernie drops out as his numbers are increasing. And I said to her, this makes no sense. Well, then you go back and you research what he did in 2016. And you research what he did now. Both times he walked away with over $15 million. He was never going to be Pontus. He didn't want to be Pontus. He's doing it for the cash flow.
Possible.
I mean, if you look at his...
But this is why I don't trust any politician, because
if you look at
you're not going to get me rich people to tell me that they're going to help me.
And
as a
you
poor
are
person.
exactly where I am at, and I don't trust any politician.
Yeah.
That's why America chose Trump. And I'm not saying that because he's not a politician.
Well,
he's a businessman.
I'm going to pull Impractical Jokers. Well, no, I think, and I'm not going to say, and I'm not saying
I argue
this.
with guys all the time. I
Yeah,
have a guy I argue with on Facebook, and his whole point of it is, you know, he gave this tax break, and I didn't see it in my check. Well, I'm like, well, where are you working? Because I seen it in mine. I physically seen the change in my check. So, and I'm not making much more than he is.
Yeah.
So, and he's a Democrat. So he's going to sit there and say there was no change when there was an apparent change. I'm not saying it was drastic.
Yeah.
We couldn't go out and buy the next model up car because of it.
No, we're still.
But any more money in your pocket is better than it in somebody else's.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I just think all politicians are out to make other rich people rich and poor people poor.
I mean, can he say he's not a politician now? No, because he's just held the highest seat in the land for the last 3.5 years.
Yeah, I think he definitely played to a demographic of people.
Right. Well, he did.
That was very hungry
For a change.
For not a change. They were let's say not happy with a black president. He played to a broad spectrum. He played heavily to the Republican side, and he played very heavily to, we'll just say, the NASCAR gun-toting
See, I'm not seeing that. I get your point,
He did,
but I'm not
yeah.
seeing that. I mean, you have to realize though, we lived with the most racist president for 8 years.
It came down to a Trump. It came down through a Democrat who was a black man to a Democrat who is now a woman who has been proven to. I mean, obviously the Benghazi tapes are what they are. So it can't.
That in itself is horrible. I don't care about any of that. To be honest
listen,
with you.
that whole political
Look it up.
campaign
was a smear tactic.
not even a smear tactic. It was a high school debate. Because every single time Hillary tried to talk politics, he would just be like, Benghazi, Benghazi, jail, you'll be in jail, Benghazi. And she'd be
He
like...
went to the key points that people wanted.
And she would be like, well, how are you going to fix the deficit? I don't care, deficit, China, you, Benghazi, emails. And everyone's like, he's talking a lot about those emails. Like, I mean, like, he didn't even talk anything really on a political scale. It was just pretty much like, it was like a...
I thought he did. I mean, maybe I just
did,
looked
but it was
at
just
it more.
But that's what the key points that just kept getting people going.
I
Like
think you had to read between the lines.
They all bash
the
each other
political
when they're up there.
the
They're all
political
just doing-
campaign has changed 4 years ago, and it's never going to go back the same
No.
again. Like it's gotten to the point where it's just vicious. Like you like if
And
you're
it's not supposed to be that way.
if you're gonna run. But here's the thing, like
I mean, I didn't want to see Obama fail. I mean, I wasn't a fan of everything that he did. I didn't want to see him fail. But
Yeah,
I've never
but
seen
here's
people
the thing,
that wanna
like,
see this
From the
man
time
fail.
this man got in office,
Yeah.
when it
they,
comes
they wanted him to fail,
when
just
it
to prove
comes-
that the system wasn't broken.
Yeah, but it comes down to, and it's not. And I had someone who was in local politics who seemed like a very good person. I don't follow politics, and I was very upfront when she came on. But she says, "I'll never win." And she goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "I'm in School County, and I'm running as a Democrat. I won't win because when people go and vote nowadays, they don't vote. They vote based on what. It's kind of like voting for your favorite pro team." But then, like, oh, well, my pro... Like, all right, for example, like, I'm trying to do, like, a sports analogy, but it's probably the worst way to do it, so I'm not going to do it. So, like, you want to vote local politicians. Maybe the Democratic side is probably a better choice for you in your county, but because they're Democrat and you are pro, like, say, right now... It's not Trump and Hillary, it's Republican Democrat, and it's just like, because you're Trump, you have to vote all Republican because you need Republicans to be in your house. You want to make... Because when...
You know I don't vote that way, right?
But you don't, but majority of our nation now does. Like a majority of our nation
for-
walks into
Michael
a
Pake,
I'm
Michael
gonna-
Pake was a Democrat.
Michael Pake's a
We
Democrat,
voted for
but
him.
I'm just
You know what I
saying.
mean? Like, it's
But
just-
I'm just saying.
but it's been proven. Even
I'm
it
saying
was
No, I get what
I'm
you're
going to
saying.
tell you this though, this much
That's the
from a
worst thing to
Senate
do
and
is to
Congress point of view, I will never vote Democrat.
yeah.
I not because I was raised Republican.
Yeah.
It's just that I now understand that party, and I will never allow them again.
But
in my mind,
but like
I could never
statistically, it's
consciously walk in there as an American and put one of them on the ballot. I
Yeah.
just can't. That doesn't mean there aren't good Democrats.
yeah.
I love Michael Pake, who's our district attorney. He's a Democrat. There are numerous Democrats that I do like, and those I would vote for. There are Republicans I do not like, and I won't throw them a vote if I don't think that they're going to do best for you
Yeah.
and me and my kids.
But I don't think all people.
Well, no, they don't.
They don't look at.
Absolutely
They
not.
don't look at local politics.
They don't.
They vote based on the president,
Exactly.
and I don't think that's smart.
It isn't smart. That a point we will 100% agree on because you have to look at the overall person. A lot of them don't. They just look at who they're registered to.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what their talking points are. It doesn't matter what they can do in office. All that matters to them is that the flag that they fly under.
Exactly.
And whether you're a diehard Democrat or a diehard Republican, you can't do that. You have to do what's best for this country, what's best for the people in this country. Now, do I agree with everything that Trump says, or do I agree with everything that, like, I am no fan of Nancy Pelosi. Never have been. Not because she's a Democrat, just because of the person. I've listened to her talking points. You take Bernie Sanders. 40 years in politics. 40 years in politics, and has never done one thing for this country. Ever. Not one policy or bill has ever been passed.
I don't know anything about it, so I couldn't debate you. on it.
But now you take Joe Biden.
Because I don't follow politics.
Now I mean, like they're smearing Biden right now.
I can tell you how many rushing yards this guy had 2 years ago, but I couldn't. I just don't care about politics.
But you take Joe Biden right now. I mean, the Democrats are not going to be voting for him. They're going to be voting for whoever he's picking as vice president. That man is not staying in office for 4 years. You can already see the Alzheimer's.
I don't know about
He
that.
can't remember his wife. He just did when is it on Easter Sunday? Easter Sunday, he just did.
I like how he walks into place and the guy's like, "You're full of fucking shit, son." It's just like, you're on camera, man. Slow down.
But he,
Oh, and his harassment about
well,
the gun.
no, wait. Now you got to realize a lot of stuff
Dude,
came up.
that's how I know politicians have changed, because you would never had a politician say, "You're full of shit, son."
No.
Yeah, no, oh my
Trump,
God,
Trump
they're
changed the
baby
game.
kissers. They're
Trump-
baby kissers.
There's no
and
more baby
handshakers.
kissers.
But I'm just saying, they're baby kissers and handshakers. Now all of a sudden, we attack the people we're trying to get to vote for us. When do we start doing that? Yeah. But
I'll fuck your wife, bro.
but
Wait,
Grab her
but
by
wait a
the-
minute. No, wait a minute.
You
No,
know,
wait a
grab her
minute.
by the.
Well, one's molesting kids and one's grabbing women by the pussy. It's like, well,
That's all right.
I mean,
But-
I'll go for the. I don't know which one I'll go for. I mean, I don't want kids to get molested, I guess.
But
Oh,
I don't want women
I
being
get-
grabbed
yeah,
that way
what's
either.
the
I don't
whole,
want
I
women
guess?
being grabbed.
Neither
I
do
never
I.
agreed with that.
Yeah.
I mean, he was recorded
locker
without
room
his
talk.
knowledge, but irregardless.
But that's the problem. Is some people
And he wasn't a celebrity, or he wasn't a politician at that time. He wasn't running for president. He didn't even think he was running for president at that time.
Yeah.
But I am going to say that, and that's not me making excuses for him. He needs to own up to that himself. He needs to say what he said and what he did and how he did it and why. There's nothing to justify it.
No.
I can't. I won't. If I said it, it's not justifiable, and I'm not a politician. But
The bottom of my cup.
Yeah.
the problem was it was Easter Sunday. So now you have this. They decided he's been doing his interviews from in front of this bookcase, whatever, you know. Don't even know if the man has ever read any of them, but I'm assuming they are. They're in his home.
He doesn't read books.
Somebody reads them to him. I don't know. I'm just saying.
What
I'm
should I
sure
get
he
on the
does.
McDonald's
I'm not
menu?
saying.
I don't think it. How many books do you think Trump?
I'm not talking about
realistically-
Trump. I'm talking about Biden.
Oh,
I thought we
yeah.
were talking about
Me too.
I have no
But
idea what we're talking about.
what I'm saying is the man does an interview
Mm-hmm.
on Easter Sunday, and for those of you that haven't seen it, you need to go look it up on YouTube because it's amazing.
We'll eventually.
Who are we talking about?
We're talking about Biden, but we'll bring it back in a second. Just let
But they ask him about how his rallies are going because he's doing these taped rallies from home, talking to his people that he's going to vote. He's getting. I think they said on the one day he had like 117 viewers on this feed that he was doing on Facebook and this and that. But
117.
yeah.
I was half that. I'm not even running for president.
But well, the man's rallies never even equaled 1,000. But I'm just saying, I'm not. It's the same old story from 8 years ago. You know what I mean? They're used to this already. They know what he's going to say. Nothing has changed for him. He just keeps backpedaling on stuff. Trump's guilty of that himself.
Oh yeah.
But what I'm trying to get at, the interviewer's talking to him. Now, I understand he's a little confused now and things are going on. He doesn't remember who his wife is, stuff like that. I get it. He doesn't remember what state he's in. He doesn't remember that he's running for president.
He's like a rock star,
He
man.
thought
He
that
says
he was
that-
running for Ukraine
No,
president.
he thought yeah. So when they're talking to him, he's like, "Look, we got to get the Ukraine back." He
like,
goes,
"But-
"I need to be made the Ukraine president. We got to get Donald Trump out of here." And you think this guy's going to be okay for the next 4 years in office?
He thought he was running for Senate.
Then he thought he was running for Senate.
That was a while back.
That was a
Yeah,
while
the
back.
difference
You
between his
know what I
wife
mean?
and his
They
sister.
were talking to him, and he's like, "Look, I will be an amazing senator."
He's like,
I
they
mean,
switched on me. I'm like,
so you
no, they
have-
moved.
yeah, so
Wife
you
and
have
sister
to-
mixed
yeah,
It's
up.
like
you
Ron
have-
Burgundy.
You
That's
have
not what their front says.
you have to realize something. Whoever he picks, and I mean, look at how late we are into.
Who would you pick as your vice president if you were Biden?
If I was Biden, do you want me to be 100% honest?
Yeah.
And if I wanted to win the seat, to be honest with you, Michelle Obama.
Yeah, 100%. I go Michelle.
Wait, why would you vote Michelle
Oh,
Obama?
I'm not. He just said if I was Joe Biden.
Yeah, I would 100% go Michelle.
Could she run this country? Hell no.
No, because she's
Is
trying
she
to make us
capable
all
of running this
healthy.
country? Hell no.
She's trying to make us what?
She's trying to make us all healthy.
My point,
I'm
like
not down
we
for that.
used to
She
make
is-
jokes.
No, wait a
Wait,
minute.
watch me open
Wait,
half.
what are you talking about?
Listen
She's
here.
trying to make you healthy.
112
Did you?
pounds.
Yeah, she was.
Do you
no,
know
no,
that?
no.
Do you know that she has the worst school reform lunches in
Let
history?
me
Yes, we all
hear
have
me
that.
out.
But let's not get into that
lunches,
debate.
Too.
My lunches when Michelle Obama was in chair and like office and stuff with Obama, my lunches were like this big, and then as soon as she was out, my lunches like times
doubled.
three, and I was like, "Oh, I'm eating good today."
But anyway,
Pokemon Go came out at that time.
What that?
What?
Was it that,
Pokemon Go.
yeah, we
Fuck
were all
yeah.
walking and stuff.
Hell yeah.
But
in the morning,
I will
shoot
say,
that.
I will say this:
Killing the
no
games.
matter who runs
Yeah.
or who he picks as vice president, that's who you're
Oh,
voting
those
for.
dogs need to
You- People need to remember that. This man's not going to make it 4 years. I feel sorry for him because he had
Well, he's not going to win.
he had a vice presidential seat. No, his numbers. Nobody in the Gallup polls has ever been where he's at versus his opponent.
He's not going to win.
Well,
I'm not even a
Shit.
Republican.
Let's
He's
be
just-
honest.
I'll vote Taylor
Let's
Russell
be
for
honest.
president.
It's hard
Thank
to
you.
unseat. It is really hard to unseat a seated president.
Yeah.
Now, since you're agreeing on that point, let's get off that subject.
I don't think I've ever seen a president not do 8 years.
yeah,
in my
George-
lifetime.
George Bush Sr.
Yeah.
He only did 4.
All right, so when I say that, I think the first president I remember like as a
Bill Clinton.
was Bill Clinton. Like so from Bill
I
Clinton
remember
on.
Obama.
Now, I mean, there's a subject we can discuss without getting in the whole pile of politics.
I don't remember anything about Bill
I don't
Clinton
realize
about
how long
just that he
8
got his
years
penis
is
sucked.
until it's, like,
I got-
over.
Then he got his penis sucked.
That's all I know about Bill
Monica
Clinton.
Lewinsky.
Listen, most
I
of
don't
my,
think any of that was anybody's business.
most of my presidential. I mean,
Do you know what they spun that as?
all right, hold on.
Sexual abuse.
Wait a second. If I'm working for a company, right,
Sexual harassment.
and my boss is getting blown by one of my coworkers in his office, that should be my business.
Why?
Because
Wait,
like
what?
no, because if I'm
How?
trying to get a promotion or I'm working my ass off as an employee, I think that should be something.
But no,
that
wait a
should-
minute. No, wait a
I
minute.
think
no,
we
wait a
should talk
minute.
about the
She,
15th president.
No,
She
you
was an
see,
intern.
she was an intern.
That's even worse.
There's
The
no,
15th
no, wait a minute.
That's even
There's nothing for her to gain out of that.
All right, like if I am at my
Would you have done that?
if I'm at my job and my boss is getting blown in his office desk on company time, we should know about that.
No.
I agree.
Let's
The
write
man
a
still
book
has a
report.
personal life.
We're writing a book report about.
What if
No,
it was his wife blowing him?
He's on office hours.
Then that's fine. But he's on
So
the
it's fine. If
he's
it's
at his
his wife?
desk. He's
At
at his-
McDonald's, wait, at McDonald's, if you're in the bathroom too long, they tell you to clock out. I'm just gonna say, it's time to clock out.
At Cracker Barrel, they had a manager leave because him and a girl were
Do
dating.
you
They were
think
like,
this
"No,
is a
that's
new
not allowed."
concept? Because it happens constantly.
I
Not just
know.
in the presidency.
That's why I said it's not a good thing.
But it's not going to change.
I
I mean,
know.
it's getting worse.
Listen, if I'm the president, and if I'm president, if you elect me a president this year as a write-in, Tony Blackwell,
I just,
Are you
I
running?
just added
I am.
myself. I added myself.
yeah,
Like, what
I am
happened here?
going to have sex with my wife on that desk.
I would do the same.
And that's okay on
outside.
on America's time.
And I will make a secretary watch.
I will let the entire world
But
know.
my
that I
whole
did that.
point is this.
You
I
heard
don't.
it here first, people. Tony
I-
Blackwell, 2020.
I understand. I understand your point
Thanks.
on where it
You,
should
you could
be,
help me campaign.
But it really,
got it, yeah.
what they did to that man,
Who?
to Clinton, because of what he did. I mean, I understand he came out and lied, but it was nobody's business.
Wait, I feel like Trump just went into office.
They were both consenting
I
adults.
can't believe it's
Trump has a mail-order bride right now as our first lady who has porn on the internet. I love it.
She is,
She is not a
beautiful.
mail-order bride, by the way.
Listen,
What is a mail-ordered bride?
Google
Madison.
Melania Trump, and you can see her. Listen. She
She's
has
a model
girl.
before.
She has girl-on-girl photos of her making out with another
She was
girl.
a
So?
model.
She was a nude model.
So
Where did
That's
it
that up.
awesome.
You know what? Trump pulled a good one.
He did.
Like-
Listen, you think
he got
you
to
think,
see
you
you.
think he got her with his looks?
he got to see.
You think
what,
she really loves him? You ever watch like when a dude goes over and he brings home like a nice Russian girl or a Filipino nice girl? Do you think they really loved him?
Oh my gosh! Wait, talk about like
But she didn't
stories.
need
Like
him to
90
come.
Day Fiance is the funniest thing
Yeah,
in the entire world.
like
Maybe
when
it was
she
his-
looks at him, you're like, oh, I really love him and his nice hair and spray tan. Like she's like, yo,
Maybe it
motherfucker.
was. It was
I
like
love that
You
shit.
didn't see his last few
personality.
interviews. Apparently, he ain't got no spray tan right now.
Vagina.
He's
That's
not
him.
rocking. He's
That's
not
his
rocking the
driving
spray tan no
person.
more right
Isn't
now.
he?
No, they can't do it right now. He's trying to show that
The
We have to
Simpsons
keep
predicted
them-
that he was going to be dead.
Who?
The Simpsons also predicted that he was going to be in office. So I mean, like we can't.
He
fight
has
with the
4
Simpsons.
more years. The Simpsons they've never been wrong. There's been
That-
You don't think that they're going to throw another candidate in there? You know the DNC still has not appointed Joe Biden as their candidate. You don't think that they're not going to try and
who would you
throw
put
it
in there?
we are super off
from the
topic.
Democratic Party?
Oprah.
No.
I vote Oprah. Yeah, we can all get cars out of this.
From she don't.
You get a call.
She don't want to be president. I'll be honest with you. She doesn't.
The Rock.
No.
No.
He's actually a Trumpster, so.
the last one.
Why the wrong? Why are you voting celebrity?
Because we can have we can have back-to-back WWE Hall of Famers as president.
You know what? Who I vote for Trump to be in office? Taylor Russell, 2020.
I'm going to tell you
I would
what's
be a
going to. I'm going to tell you what
horrible
I'm thinking.
What are you
is gonna
eating?
Mochi.
Mochi.
Yeah, there's no more. He just ate the last
Let me
one.
describe it
so.
to you, okay?
It looks like
It's rice cake.
lost me.
It's like rice.
Enjoy
cake,
that.
okay? With
I have the God. Me just talking about this today. I think I have the God's honest feeling that within the next 2 weeks, you're going to see them throw Nancy Pelosi up there.
Nancy
Martial
Pelosi.
law.
That's the last person we want in office.
This country will be done.
What if?
Oh my
Honestly,
god, her tearing up the papers was the funniest thing.
It was
It
hilarious.
was also
Yeah,
illegal.
was.
It was
I know
also
it's
illegal.
Maybe. What about that Cortez chick? She seems to be a pretty big. Right. I mean, the Democrats love her.
AOC.
Yeah.
She's done, buddy. After
What
this
was
time, her seat's up.
She's like dumber than a box of rocks. I can sit there and do her
She
job.
is. She's done after this term. Her seat's up. The girl that's running against her on a Democratic ticket is phenomenal
Yeah.
and extremely intelligent.
Okay, that's not working out. 'Cause that's wrong with it.
All right. Let me bounce this back real quick. So
Where are we going
We're
with
gonna be
it?
here till like 5 in the morning.
no, we're not.
We
We're
definitely-
good. I'm watching the time. We're doing all right. So, I want to, because I feel like, because Nikki's mic'd up and stuff, and I don't want to dive too much
You're
into
mic'd
like
up.
the thing, because we did talk about
Mic'd up.
Lori passed away and stuff. And I know you guys said now you guys were really young when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
What was I'm gonna get Oprah real quick. Is it okay?
Yeah.
If this is too much. If this is too much, you can tell me to stop and we'll move on.
Nothing's
For
too
anybody,
much
all
with
right.
this
Just give me this because we're on camera.
Oh,
right.
I'm sorry. If this comes up, this is a take I have. Like my brain just spasses and goes. Mm-mm. So
right.
I'll just realize.
All right,
just
so then for
ignore
yours, it's
me.
gonna be like this. All right, so at a young age, losing a parent,
Mm-hmm.
and then what? Like I know you said you were like 7. I don't remember much when I was 7, but you're like I'm also 30, so
7.
We were
Where?
all
How did
over the
we?
age of 8? Okay.
oh sorry,
When mom
were-
passed away, I
they
was
were
10.
8.
I was 10 when
All
mom
right.
passed
8,
away.
9, and 10.
8, 9,
so.
10. Where were you guys
Mom
mentally?
passed away? No, I was 10.
Do you guys have do you have any remembrance of that at all?
Just one thing on that.
Yeah.
It's like she had them as prepared as they could be.
Yeah,
She never hid.
yeah. She had a full conversation with
We
him.
were all.
She
That's
she
what I was
went
trying to
and
get to.
She went and got books that brought it to their level.
Oh really?
If
I did not.
anybody,
Oh,
if
yeah,
anybody
Melons
ever
in
has
the
as a
Garden.
parent, any parent that either has a child with cancer or has cancer and has to explain it to a child, there's a book called Mommy's Garden.
Yeah.
It is phenomenal.
Really?
It explains
I did not know about that book.
Yes,
Yeah.
it explains it at a child's level. So when she first got diagnosed, you have to remember, we never told her what stage 4 was in the beginning for the first week or two
Yeah.
because I didn't know how to explain it to her.
It's called In Mommy's Garden.
In Mommy's Garden.
In
Thank
Mommy's
you.
Garden.
Thank you. She went to the doctor then when she understood. When she knew, when we came home and they first told her that she was stage 4. And she came home and then they told her to start calling out oncologists and stuff like that. Well, if you remember, the first 3 turned her down.
Mm-hmm.
They told her she wasn't going to live 8 to 10 weeks.
Yeah.
So when we had the amazing doctor, Harold Harvey, picked her up, angel of a man.
I remember when you like. I think she was in the living room and we were in the back because the way the house is set up at the time, the laundry room was like the game room.
Right.
Yeah.
And I remember me and you were back there, and you were like, we just got back from the doctor's. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, because you don't ever in your mind.
You never think.
That's
Yeah.
the last thing you think.
And
of.
to
you-
look at her, you would have never
and
known.
you were like, dude, she's stage 4. And then I just remember being like, what does it go to? And he's like, 5? Like,
No, that's it.
Or
4.
4, yeah.
4 is
Yeah, I
it.
mean, I was like, well, what does that mean?
Ew,
He
you
goes,
just spit on me.
sorry.
That
Welcome
was
to.
disgusting.
Thanks for putting that on microphone. Spitting on kids.
There goes his political career.
Yeah, I just
I'll
thought
make
I
that
think
chop.
you're right.
I'll chop it
Tony
for you.
Blackwell,
I'll
not
chop it
2020.
for you.
Tony Blackwell spits on kids.
During
Will Bank during
Yeah.
during a national pandemic, he leaves
Yeah.
his quarantined house to go to someone else's house and then spits on a child.
Can't wait for that to come up in newspapers and
Yeah.
news articles.
Everybody was on board when I said I would bang my wife on the desk.
We're like, that's
You might get elected
fine.
just for that
Spitting
one.
on kids.
Now I'm spitting
That's
kids
over.
don't
See, I
have
told you.
Yeah.
Your career.
Okay,
is
let him
over.
tell us.
Yeah.
Let him tell us.
I honestly. Oh, and then you were talking about it. And I was like, oh shit! Like, and it kind of like put it in perspective. And then I was just like, not that I didn't believe you, but I was just like, once like you were like, yo, this could be like a couple weeks, this could be a month, and then like a year and a half or 2 years went by, and I was like, what the fuck was he talking about? Like, that just a testament to how strong her willpower was. You know what I mean? Like, and I wasn't saying I wasn't doubting you, but it was just like you were being legit honest with me, saying like this is the severity.
Well,
of
there's
it.
there's no certainty to it.
Yeah, 100%.
You find that out as you go along. Like,
I do think when it comes down to fighting something like that, it 100. I mean, at the end of the day, like cancer, if depending on what you have, it's going to win.
Oh, right.
There's no until they figure something out.
The body's will may never always match the mind.
Exactly.
So
I think if anything has taught me when it comes to how strong a mind can be, it was from her.
Right.
I mean, like if you're going through things like you're going through depression, or like for me, I struggle with a lot of different things with depression and suicidal ideology and stuff like, and that's something I struggled with since I'm a kid. And then I met her. I was like, she went 5 years with stage 4 cancer.
Right.
Suck it the fuck up, Buttercup. Like things are good. Like people have it worse than you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
She never did that though.
no.
And
But that's the mentality I got from her.
Right. But
like
the funny thing out of her
how
was
she was what 30.
32 when she died.
32.
27 when she got diagnosed.
27 when she got diagnosed, 32. You are now telling a 32-year, and I'm not trying to get like upset anybody, but you're talking to a 32-year-old woman who has to tell 3 kids of under the age of 10 years old that I am no longer, like, as a mother, you are leaving behind 3 kids under the age of 10 and a family, and you know what I mean, like, and someone who was a rock in the family for as long as she was.
Right.
Like, that was a mental thing. Like, that's not easy to cope with, like, at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a testament to how hard she made sure that when it was her time and she said, I'm not fighting this anymore, she did it when everyone was mentally prepared for it.
Right.
But you can never really mentally prepare yourself.
But as
You
much
can't-
as you could possibly be.
yes.
For a
And
child, that's
for
really
that
hard.
for the
Exactly.
amount that she was comfortable with.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think there was 2 parts to her.
Because she didn't bullshit it either.
No. There was always 2 parts to her. There was the realist side.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was the side where, yeah, realistically, this is going to take me. But it's not going to take me other than on my terms.
Yeah.
She needed these kids to be old enough that they didn't forget her.
Yeah.
She understood that as one.
100%.
Number 2, they needed her.
Yep.
The hardest part, and I'll be honest with you, the hardest part was her. I consider myself a strong guy.
Yeah.
I was raised old school by an old school Catholic set of parents.
Yep.
And you know us Irishmen, we are thick-headed, stubborn, and it's got to be our way.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to
swallow it, get it over with, and,
right,
and
you're
take care of
done.
it later on your
Right.
own time.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're always charge into the fire. We'll worry about the ashes later.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
she grounded me when it came to this.
100%.
Because
That's Heidi for me as well.
because I didn't have a vast knowledge of cancer at that time. I had, for as much as I knew about medicine, having previously worked in a hospital, been EMT, all that stuff, you still don't know. You know, there's nothing to cover. There you can get a blanket for it.
It's
and
that stage
understand.
too where people say, "I never thought it would ever happen to me."
Right.
And it
Well, I mean,
sounds
there
very
was no
cliche
history
and it sounds very
that
cheesy.
we had known of at that time in her family.
But when you get told a 27-year-old woman is diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, you're just like, no way. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, that's not.
And again,
that doesn't happen.
you
to me.
having seen her,
Yeah.
if you looked at her, this is a girl that was never sick.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely got colds or the flu, any of those things.
And if she did, she didn't tell you.
Right. Because that just wasn't in her day's
Because
agenda.
she had shit to get done.
And to look at her, you would sit there and go, they've got to be wrong. And even when I was sitting there, and now her mom, who was a nurse for 30 years, sitting there across from her with me.
There has been people in our circle who didn't believe
I
for
know.
a long time.
Oh, yeah, I'm aware. And one in particular, may she never forget my faith, but we'll let it at that. I don't want to go down that road.
You said she. I was thinking more of a he. But
I
go
know
ahead.
where you were going.
Going for a he and a she at this topic, I guess.
Oh, maybe you don't know this story, so I will enlighten you in a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know the she.
But, okay, You'll enjoy this
The he
one.
that
then.
faked.
Huh?
The he that faked.
He that thought she was faking.
I know, but then didn't he fake?
Yeah.
But anyway,
What?
she would go. I just want to tell you something about the type of person she was, and you've heard this a million times. She would go to the doctor. Now you have to realize, we weren't going once a week, once a month. We were going every day, except for weekends.
And you would make sure the kids went to school, then you went to your appointments, and then came home before the kids got home from school.
Sometimes it was Ashley and Amber that held that for. Well, mostly Amber at the end there, but because of other circumstances. But still, sometimes
there was days where I would be hanging out with Amber with you guys, waiting for you guys to get home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because we'd go sometimes early and not get back till late. It depended on what treatment she was getting. And she was on 4 main fighters of cancer chemotherapies. But we would get the worst report. We would go upstairs and sit, and let me start off this way instead of that way. We'd get a really great report. She'd get on that elevator, we'd go down, she'd go outside, we'd get in my truck, we'd drive back home. She'd come home, you could see her thinking the whole way home. Never smiling, never sad-faced. And it was, I'd say to her partway home, what's rolling? And she'd be like, I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to explain this to the kids. Well, I'm like, you just tell them it was good. No, they need to know why it was good. There was not, she needed the details.
Yeah.
So then she'd go back, refer to that book on how do I word this, how do I explain it. And she would sit them down, all 3 of them. And it was good or bad. But the thing that inspired me most about her, and it resonates with me and has ever since I seen it. We had this particular day up there, and I mean, she got the worst report. He had just given her probably we had gone from a couple months before to, you are pulling ahead of this, to now being told that it's not working and things are going.
It doubled.
Things are going very astray. And she was facing this surgery. They were going to actually cut into her brain and put this Omni reservoir in. And I mean, we're talking last ditch effort stuff.
And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't the surgery a type of thing that like they can go in and do the surgery and it could possibly even not make her the same person again? Like if this is fucked up,
she would
live her
had the
last days
surgery
on a ventilator or something.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
She could have not woken up.
Yeah.
Or when she did wake up, she may not have remembered any one of us. Or it anytime you go into the brain, it's a mapped world that's unknown.
Yeah.
So it's really, how mapped is it? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Because everybody's different.
Are you kept awake during brain surgery?
But yes,
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
just for
Determined.
You're
flexor
sedated, but you're
response.
like
yeah, you're just in that twilight
Well,
state.
don't they
You
wake
can't
up for
feel
certain
pain
parts
and
of it
stuff.
too, I think?
Well, yeah, they make sure that you can talk and repeat back the things that they said to you, and those.
you
we
probably
went
don't
through all that.
remember it, but you're sedated to the point where you're not feeling anything.
She didn't remember the surgery, but they did tell me she responded. She gave the
Yeah.
words back that they had asked
Yep.
her or told her to remember. But so we get this really bad report. Now, at that time, they had just moved the children's cancer ward right next door. They built a new building, and the kids were in there. And on the elevator, as we're waiting to get on it, is a 10-year-old boy who is so burnt from the radiation, has no hair, no eyebrows. He has a pump going into his abdomen, out his groin. It is the sorriest thing, and I don't want to say that to make, I'm not. I want to make sure that I'm not making light of it.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
Yes. It's hard.
And here I am, a healthy person, and I'm looking at this boy. Now, I'm healthy, and I'm looking at this boy like, oh, my God. Then you start questioning if you believe in religion, like, really? What could this child have done? But then I looked at my wife, and I'm like, she's 27, and she just got basically terminal news. And I'm wondering if that's what she's processing. And you start questioning. You don't want to say those things because I never wanted to be the person that opened the can for her, that Pandora's box, where she just had a breakdown, or.
Well, kind of.
But I was there, just so you know, for her. If she needed to cry, if she needed to vent, if she needed to be mad at somebody.
Well, one of the things that she would do as well, and I mean, she would do it with us, and she would do it with me in the room as well. Even if, like, say, if you stepped out for a second to go do what you had to do, like when she would get home, she was with the kids. She was upfront, honest. She told them what they needed to know. You guys got fed. You went to bed.
Yeah.
Ashley, Amber, everybody went upstairs, and then me, you, and her would sit down in the game room, and that's when she was like completely uncandid, and she would tell us like, and then you would even say like, "This is exactly what we went through today."
Right.
I just remember sitting, and then like certain days where Berkey was there, and like there was a very select few who was in the house at that point in time.
Well, she only left small amounts of people
Exactly.
into that circle.
That once the kids went to bed is when she stripped down, and she was like, "This is exactly where we stand
Right.
at this point in time." You know what I mean? Like this, I think like
It was amazing to watch.
yeah, she didn't do this journey alone. You know what I mean?
No.
And we supported as much as we possibly could,
Right.
but we weren't going through it. Like
No.
that's a fight we couldn't even imagine being a part of. You know what I mean? Like
But we get in the truck. We rode the elevator down, and this mother and the son get in. He's in a wheelchair. And Tony, he looked exhausted.
it was
looked wrung out.
it was insane how she just would get home from a surgery of getting pure radiation into her skull, and still would come home and it's not like, and I'm not saying this to like saying that you or anyone else wouldn't have cooked dinner that day, but she was like, no, this is what I need to do.
Because
Right.
her life moved on because she had kids.
She'd come home and start doing wash.
Yeah.
She should have laid the hell down. Those
She
drugs
fucking
should have
never
wiped her
stopped.
out.
She never stopped.
But, only a couple people know about the truck ride home after the bad report.
Yeah.
And I looked and I turned and I said to her, well, she said, what? I said, what the doctor said. And again, I told you I never wanted to be the Pandora box guy.
Mm-hmm.
She goes, why are we talking about that? I've got kids at home. Okay. Why are you getting the surgery? We'll talk about it. Well, when? Well, I don't know how you can ask me that, she said. I said, why? She said, did you see that 10-year-old boy in the elevator? I'm like, yeah. She goes, I ain't got no problems. So what do you mean you ain't got no problem? There's a little boy that's never experienced love. Never owned a home. He's never going to go graduate. Never going to have a child. I ain't got no problems.
She was the epitome of a half glass bowl.
And I was like, how do you look at it this way? And that's what inspired me.
Yeah.
From that moment on. So then we went and got the surgery. She decided to get the surgery. Didn't matter what I said. And you were there for the debates over the radiation. The second time around, she wasn't doing it.
No one had a say but her.
Right. She would listen to me, but inevitably it was her body.
Mm-hmm.
It was her choice. It was her. If she was going to end it at any point, there was nothing I could have done to stop it. And you could see that in her.
That entire process was literally her. She was in control. I mean, as much control she could be in her own
Right.
chessboard.
And she knew that I was a control freak
Mm-hmm.
and defiant, and she would say to me, you have no control over this.
This has nothing to do with you.
She said, you're just on this journey. Either you can walk with me or you can stop.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to do this my way. And, literally you have to sit and think about that, and you're like, you know what, she's right. Because if she ain't going to fight, it's no matter what they do, it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So she decided to have the surgery. And I think we had told you she decided to have the surgery. And she made sure that she talked to everybody that she could prior to having the surgery, because God forbid, they told us the risks. And I remember going there with her, and they put the Omni Reservoir in, and we brought her home, and they said, now we've come back in a week. And if this is successful, now this Omni Reservoir would have put chemotherapy right into her brain, right into her spinal cord. You have fluid that washes over the brain from the spinal cord. There's a constant exchange. So what they would have taken out in CCs, they put back in chemotherapy, in the medicines. And this would have, because she went from 10 masses in her brain to 20 to 24. There was no room. And we get the Omni Reservoir put in. I bring her home. She's doing great. She's up walking around. You just had brain surgery.
I remember coming home and I was just like, didn't you just fucking have surgery? And she's like, hey, what's up? Like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, are you not human? Are you a superhero?
I get home and she's like, well, you have a business to run. I'm fine. So I'm not going to let you all alone here. I'm not alone. The kids are here. If something happens, they'll call you. You're 2 doors down.
Mm-hmm. Your number was plastered everywhere. So
and you know, so we go back in the week.
In retrospect, another quick one too. Like during this process, a huge G to the family when it came to this was definitely Amber. Amber held her own in that situation.
Yes, she did.
Yeah, she was. That's a teenage girl who not many people would take that responsibility on as a teenager. That she kicked ass. She really did.
Up.
She did.
She grew up.
She kicked ass. She took on something that she didn't. That most girls her age wouldn't have had to take on. And I thought she did a fantastic job doing it.
I mean, she missed her Sweet 16.
Yeah.
We tried making it up to her, but you can't go back in
So
time.
I have a picture of me at a bar, smoked, sitting next to you with Heidi, and I'm just like this at the bar during Amber's
I have that
Sweet
same picture.
16.
So.
Yeah.
But we go back the week. So now the only way to check the Omni Reservoir is to try and draw spinal fluid out of it through the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they wanted was between 30 and 40 cc's to come out. They got 3, which means you can't put 30 to 40 cc's in. So they tried again. And they went and got the radiology technician. He came in himself, the doctor, the radiologist, and he tried. He said, we're going to have to do a scan of this. Everything that they built, everything that they did, her brain had swollen so much it crushed it all. So they took me out in the hall because, you know, for some reason they have to tell the husband, or, you know, at least in my case, before they tell the wife. So they come out, they call Dr. Harvey, and he comes down, and the nurse comes over, and they're like, it didn't work. I'm like, well, I don't know what you know, tell me what the Omni Reservoir didn't work. We can't go in and repair it. That was it. I'm like, okay, so what do we do now? They're like, no, that's it. We're going to admit her and keep her comfortable. I said, you think you're going to admit her? And they're like, well, you know, she's going to need a large amount of sedative drugs. These tumors in her brain are going to grow rapidly. Now that there's no medicine, they're going to grow rapidly. I said, again, you think you're going to admit her. But now, at that point, you get the wind taken out of your sail. Reality kicks in because they keep repeating about this, admitting her to make her comfortable. You don't realize that they're saying to make her comfortable to pass away.
Yeah.
And
because realistically, like going through everything, I just remember like sitting down and she'd be like, hey, like I remember it's like just ballpark 10 tumors. And then she'd come back the next week and be like, we're at 20.
Right.
Now we're at 40. Now we're at 60. And I just remember like her demeanor, even giving you that horrible news, never, like, it was on her terms.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, no matter what.
I think if I were to state what I thought she was going through, because she never relayed to me what actually she was. I don't think she ever wanted to look that weak to me.
Yeah.
As foolish as that sounds.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in her mind she had to be good with it herself, then she would tell us. Mm-hmm. That's why the time
She
frame
had to
was
process
the
it
time,
herself. She
right.
had to go through her situation. And it was, it's incredible. Like, you know what I mean? Like I said, I've seen people go down this road and not coming back. Like, I lost a lot of people to cancer, and I've never seen another human being handle
But when
it.
they took me in that room with her to tell her, and that they were going to admit her, which I knew walking
Wasn't
in
she
there.
pissed that they told you before they told her?
Yeah. She asked them, how dare they?
Mm-hmm.
That's my husband, not yours. I should have
Like,
been.
we should have been told together. If I'm not mistaken, that's kind
Right.
of what, yeah.
And then I remember them saying to her, Dr. Harvey explaining to her, and I'm expecting the tears to come. I'm expecting the you know. And she looked at them and said, "No, not being admitted. That's my husband. My kids are at home. I'm out of here." She goes, "Nothing's working?" "Nope." "Nothing you can do?" "Nope." "Okay, we're good. We're done then. I'm no longer your patient, and it's time for me to go." Well, I wasn't going to argue with her. They were only going to make her comfortable. They weren't going to save her life. And I said to her, "How are you going to do this?" She said, "I'm going to do this whatever way it happens."
Ride till the wheels fall off.
So I said, "You are one of those people that are going to, you're not going in all fresh and shiny. You're going to, the wheels are falling off and it's worn out. You've broken it down." She said, "I'm going to ride this out until this chassis no longer handles me anymore." So I took her home. And I said, "Now, this ride home is going to be different than the ride for the last 4 years and 10 months. Because I need to know what you're going to tell these kids. I need to know what you're going to tell them." She said, "I'm going to tell them exactly what they told me. I'm here. I'm home. And I'll be here as long as I physically can. But when that time comes, I'm going to go."
Do you guys remember any of that conversation?
Some of it. Like,
Yeah.
not most of it.
You gotta get a little closer.
I mean, like, some of it. I don't remember all of it. I don't remember, like, her telling us that, like... I remember her telling this was it. Like, there is no more chemo. There is no more radiation. That was it. Because I remember leading up to the surgery, she wanted us to do her hair for her.
Yeah, like
Fix it so that no one could see her scar. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so that her
Because you
hair
remember
would
how
fall.
bad she was
Yeah.
cut. I mean,
She always rocked bandanas.
Yep.
yes, you did.
yeah, I remember. Oh my gosh, I know how to still fold those bandanas. To this
Same.
day.
She taught us how. Now it's like,
Yeah, now if I'm ever like cleaning and I'm hot, I know how to fold a bandana that you're not gonna sweat that much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I remember it, I guess, like, but it's like something that, not that I don't want to remember, like, oh, well, you know, it's cut short, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like,
you don't want to remember that bad part. Like, because that was
Yeah.
the bad part.
I just remember like
Being
what-
told, like, this
yeah,
is it.
like
Yeah.
or like, but these are like the last moments.
Mhm.
Like this is your time. Like,
Yeah.
and yes, you're gonna remember like the good memories. I'm not trying to bring this up, but like I want to know that Alley Cat song, and you better find it.
I don't know what you mean by the Alley Cat song.
I just still,
It's
we
a
looked
song,
everywhere. We
yeah.
don't know.
It was
some
a song that
Lori
she-
listened to, and
Yeah.
and all she can remember is it was Alley Cats. There was Alley
Yeah.
Cats, and we looked everywhere. Nick
Mhm.
even looked. I mean, you want to talk about an inspirational woman.
Yeah.
We've sat here and we've gloated and toted about Lori, and I'm not, I would never
getting
take
there.
anything away
I'm
from
getting
her.
there.
I'm just saying, though, that like, she.
We're getting there. I know. So, obviously you're of age to remember like the funeral. The funeral. I remember I wasn't there for the funeral. I had to work the day of the funeral, but I was there for the viewing.
Really?
I handled the viewing. Like, I just remember the viewing being better than I expected. I remember walking in and seeing Ashley for the first time in a while. Amber, gave her all the love I possibly could, because like, once again, I thought Amber, she held it down. I mean, she did her thing.
I've never seen Ashley cry, and I saw her cry for the first
Yeah,
time.
I mean, at first when we got there, we were upset. We got our emotions out. But I just,
Ashley was there when Lori passed away.
yeah, and she was 100% there. Yeah, and I just remember like I think I shared. I got a little upset at the viewing when I went up to the. It took me a while to get to the casket, and I think I wasn't going to go to the casket, and I went up and I said something to you, but I wouldn't go near the casket. I was just really weirded out. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Lori's mom grabbed me.
And
And
said
she's
you
like,
need to go up and say goodbye.
exactly.
Right.
I think she was the one who kind of pushed me, and I kind of got a little upset, and we hugged and came back, and then we just told stories the whole time.
Right.
Like,
I do
Yeah.
got to tell you, I remember like that was a hard night for me.
Yeah, I remember.
All right.
I
But
signed
it had
the
to be
book.
an extremely
Yeah.
hard night
I
for
signed
my
the
mom and
book,
dad.
Yeah.
The Goober.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I just remember, like, and I think a lot of people were looking at us like we were being disrespectful or being mean. But I just remember, like,
But if they knew Lori,
yeah, I just remember me, Ashley, for the most part, and that was the first time I think I met Brittany and Gabby as well. And no, I've
you'd seen him.
I've hung
before,
out with
but-
him
Yeah,
before.
We've met
Yeah.
way before that.
Yeah, we developed a lot closer, because there was times where, like, on social media we would connect and stuff and talk.
Every now and then I send you a message too, here and there.
Yeah, and so I already had that connection with little Brian, but it was like the first time I think Gabby and Brittany, like, they didn't really know who I was, and like, who the fuck
Right.
is this kid? But I just remember like me, Ashley, and Amber just like laughing. And people were like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" We
yeah.
were just telling like, and you got used to it.
Yeah,
there, too.
we were all sitting by
and we were
the
just,
doors there.
And instead of just telling like sad, we were just like we were in.
She didn't want that anyway.
Yeah, and that's kind of what she told us as well. Like
Right.
I remember her telling me like, if this is something that like, don't dwell on the negativity. Talk about like fun things we did, and that's what we did. And we used to we had it.
It
It
helps
was
you
like,
cope better too.
huh?
It helps you cope better. And
Well, it does. I mean, everybody approaches, and me and you have talked about
And
this
our
because
arguments have been that way
the
as
saddest
well.
thing I've ever seen is somebody heartbroken over losing their grandmother, and she was her,
Yeah.
Nikki, and she remembers the good things.
Yeah.
It was a terrible day, and what a day because it was a Christmas day. But you know, what I mean, everybody approaches it differently.
Yeah.
And Lori was just unique in the fact that she didn't want hers to be somber. She didn't want it to be sad.
I'm telling you right now, if when I die, everyone you get a keg and everyone has a fucking blast.
We're sticking firecrackers in your asshole.
Yeah. First off, there won't be an open casket because I think that I burn me, throw me in the trash, burn me and throw me in the fucking sky. Like come out like LeBron James and throw me in the sky.
Trash first. Can I ask why?
Cool.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm dead. You can do whatever you want with my body.
But,
you can put me on fucking strings
tree.
and dance me like fucking the NSYNC It's Gonna Be Me video for all I care.
Backup dancers.
Yeah, I don't care. Do what you gotta do. But during this whole process, not only were you going through the grieving process, but you know that whole thing was going on, and you met Nikki here. Now you have to realize too, you're jumping into a large family, a
Yeah.
grieving family, and
Run.
and not only did you step up to the plate, but you grabbed that bat and you Babe Ruth that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like you came in and you were
It
like,
is a bat, by the way. No,
I honestly like I remember when I first met you was here, was literally in this living room, and I was like, what the hell's going on? And you were somewhat part of the like. I don't know exactly how you guys met. I don't know that whole process, but weren't you part of
You were
like,
over on 3rd Street.
huh?
You were over on 3rd Street at my house.
That's when you met.
yeah, it wasn't on here. It wasn't here. It was on
No, I
Thursday.
met you here in the living room.
Oh, yeah, the first time he met you was here in the living room.
I
Yeah,
don't remember that.
yeah, I met you here in the living room because I don't know the whole story, but weren't you like part of the team or something, like the hospice or something?
No,
No,
she was my mom's.
that's what it was with
My
your mom.
mom's loan.
It was with your mom. Yes, it was. Sorry, it was with your mom at the bank. That's how you met. I'm sorry, my bad. I didn't know the whole process. Yeah, but I remember it was.
So.
It wasn't. It wasn't. It was.
You
It
were
was.
right, Madison.
I knew it.
I'm very quick with when it comes to. I don't remember like because it just bled. Things
Yeah.
bleed together. So I just remember like.
And it happened quick.
You were gone. Yeah, it was. It was not a super quick process. I don't want to put it out there like that, but it was a quicker process because
It was
like
unexpected.
yeah, and this because I think one thing where we relate as men, we may be different in opinions when it comes to certain things,
Right.
but when it comes to how our tough exterior shell that we put out, we do need to have a solid rock of a female by our side.
Yeah.
And I think
I'm
that's
one of
true.
those people.
I am the same way.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize that about myself until I
I
met
am
Heidi.
perpetually lost when it comes to being solo.
Exactly.
Right.
Like for how much of a tough exterior shell you put out.
That does not diminish my want for her, though.
Exactly, 100%.
It's not about a need.
And I
thing.
think that she filled that void when it came to that, and she not proved herself, but like
she
did.
There
Like,
are things you don't know.
yeah,
You want to talk about somebody that steps up to the plate. So we're not even together a long time. I mean, it's not.
I was
And
skeptical at first. I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
She
We all
she
thought that.
comes
Wasn't for the
she
money.
comes prepared with a book
Yeah,
That's such a lie.
about
It wasn't the money.
being.
it definitely wasn't the money.
She comes with a book about being with somebody that just lost a loved one.
Where the fuck are you guys finding these books at? Jesus Christmas.
Kindle.
Oh,
There
she
is a
Kindle.
everything.
This
Book
wasn't
about
one
everything.
book. This was numerous books.
Yeah,
There's 3 of them.
And
Dating with whatever.
you know, she had some reservations at first, which any normal human being would have.
yeah.
Are these real books?
Plus, you've got to realize I'm
like
rocking.
figuratively.
I am rocking a tattoo of the portrait of my wife on my chest, and I have this long poem about my love for her and her cancer, and
Well, you have her eulogy card or whatever, isn't it?
No, this is a poem I wrote about.
Well, isn't that the same poem that was on her?
No,
I thought that was.
believe it or not, Lori picked that out.
Go ahead.
that poem
Yeah.
That's what I
on her
wanna do.
eulogy card.
When
That's what I
pass
thought
away.
you
I
had.
wrote this poem.
Oh,
this
I
one.
thought that you had the same poem.
But
Yeah, it was
I don't-
dating a widower and marrying a widower. They're actually on my Kindle.
Oh shit.
and so now
Actual
I do
books.
approach this softly,
Mm-hmm.
but we both know that I'm old school.
Yeah.
There has to be some.
It was done. I think it was. I think from outside perspective, and maybe some of your, and I'm not speaking for people, but maybe some of your family and older kids, and maybe family didn't like the way it went down. But
Nope.
as someone who was a part of it,
Oh, I've had that thrown in my face.
yeah, and I think as someone who was just as much a part of it, I may not be blood, I may not be a kid, I may not, but I would consider myself a part of this situation
Your
as
family.
well.
Yeah.
You can say family.
At first I was gonna be. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't. I didn't judge it as hard as everyone else did, but I had my guard up, and I just remember sitting down and talking and hanging out. And I don't remember like our exact conversation, but I did. I think my humor. I always like kind of threw stuff out there to see how you would handle it, and I think I remember threw something out there like, "So how do you feel about dating a widower with fucking 14 kids?" You know what I mean? and I remember putting her through the ring, and I just remember like leaving that night and feeling at ease. That like, the girl like
the side conversations to that though were,
Yeah.
for me, were heavy, and I'll tell you why.
yeah. I never
mean-
got to that heavy like, and I think this is the heaviest conversation we've ever had.
I had
where I let a lot out. I'm just gonna be honest, I'm not doing it because we're on microphone now, but there's a lot you know what I mean, like
I had family come to me, and I had friends that knew me, that
people
were
had those
in-
conversations with me, and
but that were in my circle and
Yeah.
said to me, Brian,
you're fucking up. They were pretty much saying,
well, they'd be like, look it, you don't know this girl, you just buried your wife, and you are rocking a 7-digit bank account.
mm-hmm.
You think that she's not here
Yeah.
for that? And I said, you think she's here for my money. Why? Because she works at a bank. Do you think she's seen my account? Because my account's not even in her bank. None of my accounts are in her bank. And what? She going to take all the property I own and the equipment that I own and the business that I own? Get
somebody
the
else took
hell-
that.
Get the hell out of here.
Inside sources,
So-
not allies.
I was like, I think I'm a pretty good judge of character. I have been my whole life.
Mhm.
And there was never any of that. If anybody had questions, it wasn't me, it was Nikki.
Yeah,
I mean, she sat me down and she said, look, I've had people say that I look like your deceased wife. And I said, well, those people are either blind or stupid. First off, you're not a replacement for nobody. I will never love anybody like I loved Lori.
I don't see how people think you look like Lori.
I will-
She
No
had
offense.
Blue
Yeah.
eyes,
I
like,
will never love anybody like I loved my dad.
Yeah,
I don't love
nonsense.
any two people the same.
yeah.
I love all my kids equally.
I think it's a great way to put it. And I don't know if like people are probably listening to this and like how uncomfortable is this like, but this is not a conversation that we've had before where you've been in the room. You know what I mean? And it,
Are you
and it-
But me and her
talking about
have,
it?
just
And
so
it-
you're aware.
100%.
She's asked me. She just said, anybody coming into this.
yeah,
And if you think that it's cruel of her or you think that it was wrong of her, then you don't know her.
Mhm.
But for her to sit and honestly sit with me, across from me, take my hands and say, am I a replacement? I would have asked the same question.
yeah, 100%.
And if you wouldn't, then that's you, but that's fine.
Yeah,
She knew me enough at that point to say, look, I'm going to be honest with you here. Am I a replacement? Because, Tony, did I need anybody? No. Was I looking for anybody? No. I'm going to be honest with you. My mom was struggling.
Mhm.
I was in the middle of arguing with my brothers to let's pay mom's house off.
Mhm.
I was willing to put up half if they split the other half. And not an argument where, like, yous are assholes,
Yeah.
but I wanted
it was
them.
a discussion.
It was a discussion.
yeah,
And she did not know what I had at that point. She didn't know about what I had until way later.
Mhm.
And that was only because of an argument that I was going on over the phone that you actually found that out.
Yeah, it's on
And then I got my bank
surgery.
statements out to show her to say, look, how could they move this much money here, there, and there? But anyway, none of that's the point.
yeah.
Because to me, money doesn't buy happiness. I could give a rat's ass about
Yeah.
it. But she came to the house, or I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead again. I came and picked my mom up. I was doing a demo at that time in Minersville. I came and I picked my mom up because we had made an appointment up at the bank. I said to her I would go up and we would work this out with what she needed my dad had passed away 5 years before that.
Mm-hmm.
And even when Lori was at her sickest, we would help my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Oil, bills, didn't matter.
Your mom didn't drive either.
No.
So you'd have to like.
We'd go to the store.
Yeah, you would pick her
you
up
know,
and then take.
We'd
her.
be on our way back
Percy?
from chemo
Oh my
and
gosh.
stop. And
Oh yeah, because she was a package deal. Mine was mom and Percy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Percy was her
you know,
maid.
and she, you
Bless
know,
her.
my oldest brother Jimmy's mentally retarded.
Yeah.
So she, you know, my mom had a full plate,
Yeah.
and I needed to make sure that mom was okay. But so Nick knew this. She could see that I had all that. Not only did I have these kids, but I had this mentally handicapped brother.
Mm-hmm.
I had a mother that was not disabled, but was in need of
Assistance.
assistance. And so we go up there to the bank, and I'm joking around with my mom. Now you have to realize, I'm still mourning. I'm still, and in my mind, even though this much time has elapsed, I'm sitting there going, I'm never going to be happy like that again. There's never going to be a moment in my life. These kids are going to grow up and I'm going to be alone. That's what you start thinking to yourself.
Mhm.
Who wants a guy that's 40-something and has...
At the time, like
Has
just
8
coming off disability.
Right. I'm fighting my way back from
Mhm.
disability.
Yeah, you were fighting your way back.
And because I refuse to be held down.
Mhm.
And plus, I just watched an inspirational event happen.
You lost your father and your wife.
And so I'm like in the bank, I'm with my mom. The person that my mom has the appointment with, thank God, was busy. Because, man, I did not want to date Lenny. But
Or Kai.
he wears a toupee. But Lenny's a sweetheart. But anyway, he ended up being busy. So I say, Mom, Nicole will help you. Or no, your nameplate said Nikki. Nicole will help you. And she was like, she came over. And trust me, I'm a guy. I'm not blind. She's a tall drink of water.
She's
Completely.
very tall.
I
She's
would say
6
like
foot.
more like chocolate milk,
6
but
foot.
hey, yeah, water. Yeah.
So we go and we sit down, and my mom's making her laugh a little bit, and I see that she has these pictures of a boy on her desk, you know, behind her and this stuff.
Little mongoloid looking kid.
Justin Bieber looking kid, actually.
And
Calm down.
we're talking back and forth a little bit. You know how I am with my mom, and I'm pinching my mom's cheeks and pulling them like 6 feet away from her
Yeah,
face
yeah.
because my mom had
Like
elastic cheeks.
the droopy dog cheeks.
And Nick needs her to sign something. Nikki needed her to sign something, and my mom's searching through her purse for her glasses, and they're right here on her head and her hair, you know. You have to live in that moment. You have to understand.
The other way now.
You have to understand how that all transpires.
Freaking me out. Pointing.
For anybody that didn't know or hasn't looked at that moment, I'm sitting at this desk. And I feel alone.
Mhm.
And I'm hurt. And I'm dealing with my mom's problems. When I've got this world of bookcase of problems of my own. Plus I'm running a business that I'm now trying to go back to because I just spent all this time. And that's not complaining, I'm just stating.
Yeah.
And she made me smile. When you think that there is no more smiles left.
So we could have
When
been fucking this whole time.
Pretty much.
What? Hold on.
all it took was a smile and a laugh. Jesus Christ, we would have been in an orgy by
Tony
this
could have
point.
been my new
So
mommy.
then by
Listen. Feel that. Your dad would have been the mommy.
through weird chance if
I'm
through
not
weird
confused.
chance if you will.
There'd have been a lot of love muscle in the house.
Through chance if you will.
There'd been 2 Russell of the muscles in the house.
Through
Whose name would have you taken, Dad?
through
I ship it.
through chance if you will. She ends up knowing Lori.
Yeah.
They weren't friends,
Yeah.
but they were acquaintances in
Acquaintances.
passing, which is ironic. Then, lo and behold, she lives in the house that me and my first wife lived in.
Jesus Christmas.
Boom, there it was.
And you didn't run the whole time.
Thought about it.
So we end up talking a little bit, and I've still got game.
Yeah.
I'm not dead.
We should talk about the desk situation.
That's what we should really talk about.
The desk.
Yeah.
So she asked me to, well, no, wait, I do a coffee run
Oh,
for her.
Jesus. Coffee.
I do a
Coffee and
coffee
desk.
run the next day.
Are you running for president?
Yeah.
That's called a callback. See how good I am? That's called a callback.
So then, now, obviously you knew me at that time. I had my business. I only wore my business shirts. My numbers plastered on my hoodies, on
I have
my shirt.
14 hoodies still in my
Right.
closet.
So, and probably some T-shirts, I'm sure.
I have the crooked ones that you did.
The
ones
crooked
you,
ones.
Yeah, the ones he fucked up and they're crooked on the shirt. And he's like, take these.
So I'm not dumb. I'm getting this order from her, and I get orders from the other tellers. And she's like, and she won't give me her number. She will not give me her number. So now I'm the pursuer here.
Playing hard to get.
For anybody that thinks otherwise. She says, I'll text it to you. I know I got her
No,
number.
you
at
called
that
me.
point.
You called my desk.
You gotta get in there.
You called my number at the
Right.
desk.
To
I
get
said
the
I
rest
wanted,
of the
yeah, I
order.
said I wanted to my
You're
order
like,
was
I will,
complicated. I said, I'll text it to
I'll
you.
text it to you.
This fake Italian over here had you hooked.
So then I bring her the coffee, and no, I own a construction company, demolition company, all that good stuff.
I was about to say an Italian.
And she's like, you know how to put a desk together? I'm like, do I know? Are you asking me if I
I
know
can
how to put
drill.
I'm like,
I'll
a
drill.
desk?
I'll drill your desk.
I don't even
Yo,
need the,
ew, that's disgusting.
I don't even need the plans. Where's this desk at?
Fuck
So she
IKEA.
says
I'll
at her
fuck this
house.
desk up.
I'm like, you don't need to give me directions to that house. I know right
Are you
where it's
writing
at.
stories in your head with a desk?
So I go and put the desk together. First thing she says to me is, don't think that there's going to be a relationship here.
Boom.
She's there. There's a wall here.
He's calling you out.
Men are not in my agenda. Nobody's in my agenda. And I got a black heart.
So what was
I'm
in your
cold.
agenda?
You said that to him?
Hmm?
You really said that?
Those not exact words, but
What was your agenda though that you couldn't
she
have
didn't
time for
have
men?
an agenda. No, meaning she was not looking for anything from anybody. So
She was
Just a
strong-
desk.
She's a strong, independent black woman.
yeah,
Strong
Black
independent.
heart, black heart woman.
Yeah,
Black
no,
heart.
black woman. She's
Black
white.
heart.
honestly didn't think I was black though the first time she talked to me on the phone.
Yeah, because Dad described her to me and
That would
Taylor.
have been a
like,
shocker. I'm not gonna
This
lie.
is how Dad described her. she
up?
likes getting her nails done. She does wear makeup. She does love clothes. She
well,
loves
my exact
shopping,
words were
and I
she was
like,
high maintenance.
I was like, oh my god, this woman. And the way
you
she
want to hear a funny
sounded.
story that Heidi to this day she was telling me the other day. She goes, "You remember when the fucking girls told me the one time me and Heidi were over the house with the girls, and I remember I think you because you're like the weird fucking you'll just say
Yo,
anything."
excuse me.
She walks up to Heidi and goes, "Oh my god, you have the makeup on your eyes," and Heidi goes, "Yeah." She goes, "My daddy said I can't wear that. If I put eyeshadow on, I'll go blind."
Actual facts. It was like Dad called it when we were younger. Dad
She's
called
like,
it.
"Heidi, you're gonna go blind."
Dad called it war paint when we were younger. Are you going to fight a war? No.
Still
You
get-
don't
still
need
get
Oh, what?
told.
Let's.
You're gonna go blind.
I hated the idea of like when Dad told me like he's like I found someone and I'm like I'm gonna bury you 6 feet.
Yeah.
They weren't happy.
I gave him.
I
the-
honestly, I remember.
But I will tell you from the get-go, I said to her, if these kids don't accept you, this will never work.
I do remember. I don't exactly remember what. I know it was definitely used to.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was Amber or Ashley. It might have been Ashley at this point in time in the history timeline, where I remember the conversation. It was mostly, I think, between me. It might have been me and Ashley. And this is not throwing Ashley under the bus. I'm just trying to recollect this situation.
It's all out now, with
Yeah.
so you know.
Yeah, everybody knows.
I just remember we're all there, and it was kind of like, how dare this, and what the hell's this situation?
There was a picture posted of me and Nikki with our. It was on a whiteboard. It was my hand and then her hand on top of mine, and it said
and I just
"Mommy and me" and
yes,
all the.
It was like a
sisters blew up.
Pinterest thing though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think I remember I was used to definitely in the room, and it might have even been here if I'm not mistaken, because it wasn't. I just
It was in Monoy, I think.
was it still in Monoy?
Yeah, it was in Monoy.
Yeah.
Okay, and I just remember I think I just told Ashley and somebody else might have been there. I won't drop the name, but I remember telling him too. I was like, "It's none of your fucking business," and they're like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I know that's your dad, like." what's gone is gone. Like, but this is now his decision to move on with his life, and
because everybody expected us to just stop after Mom.
Yeah,
passed away.
I said,
like our lives weren't over.
Exactly.
Like,
I said,
we still had a life to live.
Your life isn't over, and neither is his. And I said, if someone is making him happy, then why the fuck is everyone trying to stop this?
Like, stand in the way of it. Like,
I feel like
who does that?
Like a lot of the time, like the one thing I really learned from my mom: if I lay down, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
If I continue, I'm gonna continue. You're not gonna stop me. I'm like a fire. I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Like this will. If I'm going, there's nobody getting in the way.
Yeah.
And that's like one thing I learned from my mom. So like if people had a problem with it, like they could have addressed it, but like what? There was no
instead they
point.
just stopped talking to us.
There was no point
Yeah.
in
There was
addressing
no-
it. They were like mad for no reason.
That's
and
like, it
that
wasn't
bothered
even
me
like
the
that was
most.
they
them.
weren't there to like. Yeah, my mom treated them like that was their
Listen,
children.
if
but
there is an afterlife or if there's a spiritual thing, and if your mom wasn't cool with it, we would fucking know about it.
There would have been hell.
That's how I look at it. We would fucking know
Somebody be
about
getting
it.
their lungs snatched out of them.
Exactly. They're
She's laughing. She's like,
No.
Good luck, Nikki. It's all yours now.
What a lot of people don't know, Tony, is from December 26th when Lori hit that bed, when she knew that she was never getting back out of it.
Mhm.
I think people think that we stopped talking about her passing, or that
No, not at all.
I think that people think.
Well, here's
that-
the thing, too,
I,
like-
I think that people don't think for 4+ years we didn't talk about this. We
Yeah.
did. This
It was
girl
talked on a regular-
insisted,
it was
and you
talked on a
heard-
regular
you were
basis.
there
Still
when-
talked about. It's
You were
still
there
talked
when I
about.
argued with her. She insisted that I had to move on.
Yeah.
That I had to find somebody. I'd say to her, "Are you
100%.
crazy?"
Yeah.
And she'd be like, "No, I'm not crazy, but you're only 40-some years old.
Yeah.
You're not going to be alone forever."
I
wouldn't expect that of
if
you.
I'm not I'm not quoting, but I do remember her saying, like, not in a nutshell, but like there has to be a female presence with these girls
Right.
to that extent.
She not to
'Cause we would
discredit
have
anybody.
like, we
not
would
to
have
discredit anybody, but she said her mom and my mom were too old to be that influence.
Yes, and I'm not like I like I'm saying, like, once everyone went to bed and us three sat in that back room and we talked about some dark ass
Oh, I've
shit.
been told that that's lies. I've been told, but nobody was there.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I was there for every second of it, but I do remember being in that back room. It was me, you, and her.
Well, if Ashley wants to be honest about it, and since nobody wanted to approach me, and I'm not calling anybody
yeah,
out.
no.
Ashley made promises to Lori that if I didn't start looking for somebody, she'd find somebody for me.
Yeah, but my thing
Well,
is
how do you
also,
think
like,
that would have went?
the whole Ashley situation is like rough because she like yes I like at first like I was really against like the whole like dad moving on, like I felt like yes it was a betrayal to my dad, but that's all people.
Yeah,
it
you're-
was
you're fucking
grieving,
10
you know.
years old.
This was
And, like,
not
but she
me
used to egg
moving
it
on to
on.
forget
She used to,
Lori.
like-
No, not
This
at all.
was not me moving on to replace Lori. This was not me moving on to, in any way, use the person I'm with to raise my daughters. Mm-hmm.
This was a genuine connection.
right.
Yes.
I mean, and if
If
you
this
are
wasn't-
if you are a believer in faith,
If this wasn't a genuine connection, we wouldn't be sitting here now. What? How many years
7
later?
years later.
7 years later.
And
I'm just
married.
being dead serious. And married, and you're like, and this is like a crazy thing to even as an adult level, because there is people that if like most kids of your age or even my age wouldn't even be able to have a conversation in the same room with their significant other about a past lover,
Right.
because it's like how dare you talk about someone that you loved as much as you like, and that's not even an issue in this fucking
Nikki is
household.
comfortable with the fact that Lori's not competition.
It's not competition.
She's
at all.
deceased.
She's
And
not.
it-
There's not going
it's-
to be a time where
it's
she
not
needs that.
competition. It's
She's not going to show back up
Yeah.
here, knock on the door, and go, "Yo, I'm here for my husband."
Yeah.
We all
If she
we all
does
wish
that,
die,
I
so,
will be
yeah.
the next one in the box.
It's not like they were divorced or anything.
Exactly,
Do you know what I mean?
and it's just like, and it's not even like, it's not even a divorce thing. Like I've seen situations happen with people that you lose somebody. It's like, that you move on. That's not a thing anymore. And like we openly have conversations to this day about Lori, and it's not that I'm trying to make you feel
You
uncomfortable.
can't not think of Lori, though.
But you can't like, and I'm not trying to say like, and that's not a knock to you, because I'm getting to that point as well. I want to bow tie this up, but like, for how important Lori was as a person, I think on a completely different retrospect, I think like you bring things out of him that I've never seen brought out of him, like the things that even Lori wasn't able to, like that, like you guys weren't like. It's not like it's a cookie cutter relationship. Not the same cookie cutter that was imprinted here is the same relationship that you have here. Like your relationship with Lori is a 180 degree, 360 degree flip of what used to or as in a relationship.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I remember those conversations that I wouldn't have ever had it with you when you were with Lori, not because like you were just in a different mind state,
Right.
like, and you were not close-minded, but you were set, and time changes things
Right.
for everybody.
For everybody.
But like, I just want to say, like, as someone who like how much I cared about Lori and respected Lori, like you're on the same level as that. I want to be honest with you, like. Not only did you take in my best friend, but my like I don't want to say like dad figure because it wasn't even like that. But
No.
like for how much I do say like that's my friend and these are my sisters. Like it's a weird way to describe it, but like maybe
we have a weird family.
yeah,
complex.
it's not even like it's like an uncle or a brother type thing. It's
when
just
I
like,
address like him to people, like I'm like, yeah, my uncle Tony.
yeah,
like,
you know what I'm saying?
that's what I'm
It's like
saying.
it's
or
like,
like
a
my brother Tony, like that's just another one of our siblings.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like it's
I
like
just
brother.
tell people he's the funniest motherfucker you'll meet.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll take it all. Jordan, you got anything? You want to throw anything on? But like,
Jordan loves Tony.
but like,
Everybody loves Tony.
you're
Oh my
you're
God, yeah.
like I just remember like sitting in your kitchen over there and just like and I walk in, I'm like, your fucking kitchen looks like a bad Italian restaurant. and then you're like, get the fuck up, I'm Italian. I'm like, you're not Italian.
That poor pizza man.
You're not
That
fucking.
poor pizza man.
You're fucking not Italian. You're not Italian. You're like, I'm fucking Italian. And then didn't you take a genealogy test? How'd that turn
And
out?
she's not Italian.
She's
Scottish.
Amazonian.
I'm
Irish?
I'm Scottish, English, Welsh. I'm like Irish.
So I was
No,
correct.
there's something else in there, though.
Yeah,
like,
you were
like
right.
Scandinavian.
Wasn't it Greek?
Scandinavian.
I thought she
no,
was
No
Amazonian.
Greek. There is nothing
another
from the
one.
boot, bro.
I think I'm gonna do another one because I don't believe all of
Yeah,
it. Though.
you gotta spit on that stick again.
that was
my
the hardest
God.
part.
Huh?
That was the hardest
What
part.
the
She couldn't smoke for half hour, and she had to spit in that vial, bro. That was
Yeah.
it was tough for her.
And
But-
you gotta spit a lot. Like it's not like a. It's like a.
Yeah.
Like
But-
feel that side.
but I-
Whatever she's made up of, we
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, 100%. And
You
I
love
just
when
want to
Tony's
say like
telling you.
how like the amount of respect
Yeah,
I
just,
have
like,
for you,
I'm
just
gonna
like to like,
try
that
to
we could
get
even
her.
have this conversation and still all be comfortable and stuff. Like it's not a replacement, it's not a move on, it's not a rebound, it's not a replace. Like we're not comparing you to her, we're not putting you in the same realm because you're a completely different person and you've been kicking ass this entire time as well. Like not many people would take on a man on his third marriage, two different sets of kids from two different marriages, as fucking
I
stubborn
went
and
from
bull.
1 to 9.
Yeah, you went from one kid, fucking, and Mikey. Oh my goodness, you going from a single child to fucking now has to share attention with fucking 9 other assholes. Like Jesus Christ! And for how hard headed and pig headed he is in this situation, like in 7 years, I mean, a lot has fucking changed. And dude, you killed it. Like I fucking love you to death. Like you're fucking family. Like and I think if anything, if we can look down and Lori would be fucking proud of where we're all sitting right now. You know what I mean? But and still being able to have that conversation and not have the like not have you be like I'm not comfortable with, you know what I mean? Like because I think it's healthy for us to still have those conversations and remember the
You like to talk about the time so they don't forget nothing.
exactly.
Do
You know what I mean? Like
It
it's
was
not
still
it's
their
not
mom.
erased
Yeah.
history. You know what I
I
mean?
just
For
like
Madison,
wish, like-
that part's the hardest.
For
She
what?
was
Yeah,
the
for
youngest
Madison.
at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I think
Remember.
okay, so it was described to me like mom was afraid that I was gonna forget her, which I'm not saying I have, but
Well,
I don't remember her like Taylor and Jordan do. I don't.
the reason I bring her up as much as I do, even around you guys, is because that's something. That's
See,
one of
like,
the things we
I
talked
can't.
about.
I don't like to talk about that because like you know my mom longer than I know my own mom, and
Yeah.
she was my mom, and nothing towards you at all.
100%.
It's
But
not
that
a
is-
jealousy thing. It hurts a little.
It
bit.
hurts
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you got to know a woman that I don't, and I came out of that woman.
Yeah,
And I think my mom's biggest fear was that I was going to forget her and love somebody more than her. Which,
yeah,
to me, that is my mom, but Nikki's my mom.
yeah,
Like
100%.
I don't like. I didn't even tell my ex-boyfriend that I had a dead mom
Yeah,
because like that story that she lived her
But
own
that's
story.
personal to you, though.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's like
You
Well, like,
can tell that
people
to
in
whoever
school.
you
I
want
can,
to tell
I
it
can,
to.
like,
Yeah.
my grandmother, who was on my dad's side, I have no memory of anything we've ever went through, experienced. Like everything that I liked that she was into as a kid, for some reason I revolt against all of it. Like I don't like anything that we used to do together. And I think it was a psychological thing when I was young. I was angry that she left, and I did like this weird psychological thing where I just turned everything off.
Here's
Yeah.
something you may not know, but go ahead.
But I can feel the love we had for one another, but I can't remember her voice. I have no actual memories
And
of
that's how
her.
it is for me.
But what I
don't.
do like is when people would tell me how awesome of a person she was, and they tell me stories of her, because then I could be like, oh shit, like I can be proud of that. one thing you could probably relate to is you fucking absolutely 100% feel the love your mother had for you,
Yeah.
but you may have been so young that you don't remember the memories.
But
like,
I didn't remember everything up until I was 4. Like I didn't have an
yeah,
actual
you were
vivid
fucking
memory.
super young.
Yeah, and that's when she first got diagnosed. And then when Dad actually sat us down and was like, "Remember the good times. Remember her without the cancer." But
You
for
can't.
me,
You
there
can't.
wasn't.
Yeah.
There wasn't
Yeah,
any
and
other.
that's
There's like
hard.
no
You were
cancer.
raised during,
The cancer parts. Like I was remembered. Like I remember her with cancer, and Dad's like, Dad sat down and with all of us and was like, "Remember her without it." But I couldn't. Like
Yeah.
that was hard for me. I was like, but like. That's
So there
all I
are
do
family
remember.
members basically that because Madison says that and says that is my mom, get offended
They do, and that
instead of
I think that's a justifiable thing to
instead of
feel because
instead of honoring the woman for that, they vilify it, and that's terrible.
100%.
And just,
because
like,
this is my life.
Because-
And no one else is gonna tell me
How
to
old
live
were
it.
you when she passed?
I was 9.
9.
Yeah.
Realistically, most kids. Now, I'm someone who's speaking as a 32-year-old person. Most of my childhood memories are your teenage years. That because when you're
I get that.
when
yeah.
you're a teenager from like 11, 12 and up is when you really remember your life and you really experience things. And then as a teenager, especially as it's a girl and a boy thing when you're going through changes and and who was there for you in those moments.
Yeah.
It's right here.
Yeah, and like my thing is like when I think about it, like a lot of the times, like I would just wish like sitting now, like I'm 17, gonna be 18. I wish they would have like grown up with it and like been mature, but they would just egg it on. They would
Yeah.
be like, "No, that's not your mom. No, like
But
that's
who are
don't
they to
re-
tell
that's
us
not
who's
that's
our mom,
not,
who's not our mom?
there to replace like
Like
it's,
they're
But
not-
it's
I
not
want to
gonna
say,
last long.
with all the negative that's being said, I do want to say something good.
Well, it's good to get that they're getting it
I
off
know
their
that,
chest as well.
but
too.
you know that you've known Lori's parents for the entire time that you know Lori,
yeah.
and that you know me. My hat's off to them. I mean, first off, I being a father of 9 children now, I can't imagine burying one of them.
Yeah.
But then saying to the son-in-law, "You're still my son-in-law," that never ends. And then inviting my, at that time, girlfriend and then fiance, she sits and eats Christmas dinner with them.
Mhm.
My father-in-law.
I got to make it a
my
point. I
father-in-law,
got to make it a point to go see them because I haven't seen them in
My father-in-law,
way
who
too long.
has struggled immensely because Lori was his pride and joy,
He's a fucking great
tells
dude.
people that that's his daughter.
Yeah.
And that's not because there's not something mental with him. It's just
He didn't
know how to describe it. But they sat and broke bread with her at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say broke bread, I mean literally broke bread. Because at Christmas we do the Holy Supper,
Yeah.
and they wish her well, and they pray for her, and that. So people don't know. People outside of our shell don't know that.
Well, I mean, we're
And
kinda
they look
getting-
at it like,
what
what the
we're
hell?
looking at is there's some people inside of our shell who still have a hard time with that. But I
She
think
goes and cleans her house,
But I
or
think
helps
I
her
think
out.
if you
or-
truly knew Lori as a person and what Lori would have wanted, because what realistically she knew. Listen, we had jokes and we would make jokes about really morbid ass shit. You know what I mean? Like she would make jokes of like, "Oh, I'm not going to be here." Like, I think if she would honestly were to look down at this situation right now and see where you girls are at, and
I think she'd be so happy.
and seeing that Nikki's at this table and you know what I mean, she would fucking be proud of, like, you know what I mean, like that's, I think this is not an easy thing for anybody because you have to realize everyone has their own mental, the way they deal with things, and to get that all right with 9 fucking, well now 11 because you're counting you and Mikey in this, like that's not fucking easy for 11 people to
Well,
get
no,
all.
Mikey makes 9. She makes 10.
yeah.
Jimmy makes
Do the
11.
math.
That, yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
11. There's 11 people that coming in and out of this household. That's
Yeah.
11. I was
Right.
right.
Okay.
Jesus, I'm shutting this off. No, but no, that to get 11 people on the same page is never. You're gonna have people who just don't do that. You know what I
Right.
mean? Well, 12, fucking 12. I'm in this too. Fuck you.
Okay, wow.
His mom
Your
passed
son.
away, and then we come in here and have to take care of
So
everything.
like
It's-
to get that many people on the same mentality wavelengths, because everyone handles grief differently, everyone handles change differently, everyone handles things like you're looking at 2 people who are looking at a situation where they were raised by a certain person and now they're adults and now they see a new person coming in and raising 2 girls who need
a womanly figure in their life at that time, and for yous and Jordan to see her as mom is completely okay.
Yeah, and I have the worst mom complex, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm such
What
a
does
mom.
that mean? Oh,
I'm such like the
And
biggest
you know
mom.
she's been that way for a long time.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
they
I-
had to grow up early, which was tough on them.
Exactly, and I don't ever want you guys to think that I bring your mom up.
I'm
to,
taking a restroom break.
Yeah, I don't ever want you guys to think that I bring your mom up to upset you or think. But I just really want you to guys really know how strong of a person she was, and how, like, no matter what you go through in life or how difficult things may be, that you come from a bloodline of a really strong human being that you can literally handle any fucking thing that's thrown in front of you. Like, and you are very, like, I laugh, like, when I come over here and see you guys growing up and how opinionated you guys are and how
I'm
strong,
the most opinionated
and how
person.
strong-minded you guys
looking at their
are.
Pictures from how small they were.
You know
to,
what I
like, how
mean?
they
And
grew
like
up.
how you guys kind of give your dad shit, you know, because you have your own thoughts and beliefs on things. Because I'm being honest, your mom would have done the same fucking thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I joke around with your dad, and I don't back down. Like, I have my and
I sit my grand. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm the
and
worst.
that's that's good. Like, and that's not a bash against your dad because
No.
he is very
He's
opinionated.
very
You know what I mean?
Oh,
hard-headed.
she goes
yes.
hard when him and her go at it.
I got to see it. It's got to be amazing.
It's great.
But, like,
It's a great time.
I'll have to record it next time.
it's just insane. Like, watching you grow up. And all three is because you are all three are fucking clones of your mother. Like, you know what I'm saying? I see it.
well,
more
Jordan's more Danny.
I see
than-
it more with these two because obviously the females.
I
but,
am
like,
legit I get told it too much. Like
Both is.
I've gotten like called Lori before, and like it's not that it's a bad thing. Like
No,
yes,
not at all.
I'm a different person. She was a beautiful
Mm-hmm.
woman. Like she was a beautiful girl, but like I'm like
beautiful inside and out.
yeah,
Literally the
the warrior to be
one
like.
one of the strongest. She's the strongest human being I've
And
ever
I like
met in
not
my
that I
life.
want to be her, but I hope to be at her level one day.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
like even with me personally, when I go through my problems and I wake up and I have joint pain and I'm like, oh my god, I'm in so much
see,
pain.
like,
I'm like,
I
fuck
can't
that.
complain
Like,
about my
I
pain.
can't. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have to go through a quarter of what that one went
Yeah.
through, and never fucking complained or said anything negative once, and
But-
still put everyone ahead of herself. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but every day she did it. She always told us every day I only wake up because I have kids.
Mhm.
And I none of us strive to have cancer. None of us strive that, but we all strive to be like a superhero like her.
yeah,
We all wouldn't
She was
be
the
that.
embodiment of a fucking superhero. Like she was.
She did anything and everything for everybody.
Mhm.
If you're ever questioning if I'm crazy and talking to myself, I got it from that lady. She talked to herself. And she answered herself back. I know that.
Yeah. But we'll wrap it up there. This was a little longer, but I think it was good. Is there anything else you guys want to put out there or talk about? This was off the cuff.
We were going to cover about her saying that she wasn't sick. I said
Yeah.
I would go back to it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So after Lori passed away, I think I was already with you, right? Was I with you?
I don't know.
Oh, you're going to say the name?
Oh no.
Oh, I was
No,
going to
no,
say. I was just,
Anyway,
you would
my
have
two,
to cut
my
that
two
out.
daughters. Yeah, I had to be with you.
yeah.
My two daughters come home from school crying, and some girls at school had told them that their mother told them that Lori didn't die. She divorced me and didn't want them and took off.
Jeez.
That's
Yeah,
what we
and
had
I
to deal
still
with.
get
Like
told,
So
bullying.
like,
now
to
this
this
is what my
day,
kid.
I don't
now,
know anything about my mother
They
dying.
talk about bullying.
Yeah. Well, if it makes you feel better, at one point in time, I had to have a conversation with your dad because he was told by a boyfriend of your sister that me and Lori were having an affair together. And I think I was what?
We've been told this story.
I was 19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you knew from the get go. I thought
And I
it was
never-
absurd.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I knew a reserved person like my mother, now she wasn't completely
Listen,
reserved,
I'm a
but she
stud.
was.
I'm a fucking stud.
We
and
know.
and we were very
She-
close, but we
yes,
weren't that close.
Not that,
But
share
anyway,
the bed, but not get undressed type
Me
of.
being who I am, and at that point in my life,
Yeah.
I was not very cool with that.
Yeah, I thought it was funny.
So my idea was that, well, since this mother wants to tell her daughters that my wife divorced me and abandoned them, I'll take a copy of the death certificate up to her. So I did, and I went up and I politely knocked on the door, and when she answered it, I don't know how well she read it because I plastered it right to her nose. And I walked away.
Boom, there it was.
I left her with the death certificate stuck to her face.
I hope it was a photocopy.
No. Oh, I
It was
bought
good, worth
plenty of
$8.
original. It was worth the $8.
I didn't know
Yeah,
how
they're
much.
$8.
Yeah.
Well,
Are they as hard to get as a social security card?
Oh no, you can go to any you can go to any
Well,
funeral director.
what
once
Social Security
get
card
as
do
many-
you
You can get
mean?
as many as you want.
I lost mine. It took me fucking like 8 months to get it back.
Well, no, it took me a little bit then to get.
Well, that was your
regular.
grandmother.
You
but
lost
I'm
your
saying-
death certificate?
I had multiple copies. I still have
Yeah.
multiple copies.
Yeah.
I got enough because of all the stuff
Just-
that we had. I had to take care of it.
Like, yeah,
But
kids are just.
that one was well worth the $8. I would have
Yeah.
paid $80 for that one. But
Yeah.
they never came home and said that there was a problem again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
He
felt
plays-
like
I did
Gave the
expect
cops
the
to people.
cops to show up at the house because I did handle it wrong.
Yeah.
But it was
You were upset and hurt.
I was and to tell my kids that
Grief. Yeah. It's grief, and then you're
that.
you're trying to protect kids who just lost their mother, and that's
Right.
just the last thing you want.
So I'm assuming she never called the cops, or if she did, they said, "Well, you brought that shit on yourself." Because nobody ever showed up at the house. I was lucky, but yeah, that was. I wanted to let you know that there was somebody else that said that she wasn't sick and faked her own death, and just to divorce me and abandon the kids.
Yeah. She tried to run away with me, but I told her. I was too
There,
close
well,
to you guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's
Oh
why
my
she packed
God.
her bags.
Is that
so
the
many
story you wanted to
times.
come back to?
She couldn't have left with me, guys, because I was really into Heidi, so she just dipped. And
Oh golly.
she ran.
She
I don't know who she
Florida.
ran away with.
Hey
but
mom, if you're out there, come back. Hey.
you were sick of Nikki.
I'm 17.
She's graduated. Well, she was gonna walk, but the corona is not
Yeah,
letting her.
that's on you.
But no, that was fun. I mean, we'll definitely do this again. I know you guys want to do other stuff where you come and talk, but I mean, everyone has a story. You have a fucking story. You could.
I
you
still
could
want
tell.
I have a story.
That's a
Listen,
hell of a story, I
Yeah.
can tell you.
I have a story, almost dying, and my mama was there to save me. So if you don't believe in anything, believe in that.
I never died, but I could have.
You keep pissing your dad off.
Close enough.
Yeah,
close.
That's a whole different story.
I do want to bring that one back up another time. As
No.
we do talk about not that one. You.
Oh, thank God.
It's not about you anymore.
Tony,
where
you always have the spotlight. It's my turn.
where if there's a story that you guys heard locally of a girl in Frackville who during the flood times walked around like fucking Georgie from It, and
I
decided
might not float too.
and decided to take a trip down the sewer drain from the Elks to
Oh no, it was from
she went
past the Elks. It was up
r-
past
around
the
the
all
Elks.
the way down
Yeah,
to behind
all the
Boyers.
Boyers.
Yeah, she went an underground water pipe from past the Elks down to Boyers. That was you in the room here. We did talk about it in the first podcast, but it wasn't really so much from your point of view as
Yeah.
from your
Right.
dad's and stuff. But we'll definitely go back to that one. But like I said, I will repost the pilot episode when this one airs, so you guys can kind of touch base on that. And if you ever want to come on and talk more from your side of the story, like we can do that as well. But 2 hours and almost 40 minutes of podcasting.
I think I need the
You're gonna
longest
need to do
nap.
Some serious editing. People
No.
are gonna get tired of us.
No, I let it go. I let it go for what it is because I used to tell people used to listen a lot more, and then it kind of died out when this whole virus thing went out, which is weird to me. But I think a lot of people like to listen to podcasts when they're on their way
Way
at
to
home
work
from
or-
work. Yeah, like it's like a drive home, a drive back thing.
Yeah.
And now that
Couple of days' work.
people are home and they're like, oh, I can get more stuff done. They're just not
Right.
taking time to listen to podcasts, which I understand. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there. In closing, anything else you guys want to do like a quick wrap up? We'll go around the room. We'll start with you.
What are we doing?
Just like anything you want to put on
I just
closing
remember
there.
you having this idea. I think it's amazing.
I appreciate it, man. Well, being my first episode, now my 65th or whatever.
68th.
68. I don't even
Yeah.
know.
When I was
whatever.
born in '68, we covered this already.
Yeah. Can't wait for 69. Hey, me and Heidi are doing that episode.
Whoa.
Can I please be invited?
Oh my god!
He's
What the hell?
auditioning for secretary
That
already.
whole president thing that you
Yeah.
did. He's looking to be vice.
Yeah. I said it's going to be in front of an intern. He's already, I think he put his
Tony
out-
2020.
I am here.
He's making the pins
Stay.
right now.
Listen, Heidi is attractive. I don't blame him for trying to at least watch.
And since there's a stripper out there,
I'm
it looks
surprised,
like
I'm
her.
surprised Jordan didn't jump in on that one.
You don't have to know him there.
He's a
I
taken
can stand in
man
the
over
closet.
there.
Yeah, Jordan's a taking man.
Yeah, but-
Jordan's all about anal bubble butt cream.
And now that's out in the world.
Jordan, if you ever want a recording of that,
Can we
just
pull
come
up
back to this
browser
podcast.
history first before we end
Oh
this?
my god.
Jordan, top 5 favorite porn stars out in the world. We'll get back to that. Think of
Rather
it and
we-
we'll come back. That actually happened on a Bangin' Beers. We did that for a while. We said our top favorite 5. And
What are yours?
Right now?
no, tomorrow.
Her name.
Let's end it with that.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, we just talked about cancer
I'll say
and
yay or
death.
nay.
Hey, she would love that we were talking
You
about
gotta
it.
go out on a high.
She
All
would
right,
love.
so my number one, I like this one called Chanel Preston.
Don't know that one.
Number two is Adriana Chesick.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
That's what I'm talking about.
None of us know what those are.
I'll just do three, and then my third one, which is crazy because it's everything about her is not something I'm into because she's just a little. I like a little meat, little cushion, but Riley Reid.
Yeah, I know only from
You don't know Riley Reid?
Yeah,
hearing
You
about
only
stuff
know
about
Riley
her.
Reid.
yeah, she's been on Black Draw a bunch of times. We talked about that before the cameras rolled.
You should Jeff have her on your show.
I would love to interview a porn star. Actually, and then they're my top favorite three now, but my all time, like, she's still active, but I didn't like her. Like, I was a fan of her even before she was a porn star. Like, she was on a radio show, and then she became, like, she's a podcaster now, Asa Akira. And it's not because I have an Asian wife and I have an Asian thing, but she's...
You Jeff have an Asian thing.
I don't. I really don't. I just
Asian
have...
fetish.
I have a...
That's your fetish.
I have I just have
Yeah,
a
it's
skin...
midget.
Listen... There's the one midget on the planet that I would... Yeah. No.
I remember seeing the
That's
video.
her
I was
name?
like, that's my worst thing.
My Freaka Brit.
No, the other one.
Oh,
Before that.
Asa Akira.
No, the other one. The Reed.
Riley Reid.
Riley
You've
Reid.
definitely seen Riley
Yes,
Reid
you
before.
have.
you
She
did.
has,
I don't
she
think
has,
I
she has
have.
like
Famous.
Japanese tattoos going up the
Yes.
spine of her back.
Yeah.
I don't think I
Tony, to
have.
go back to when your headset was choking you.
Now,
we don't
see,
kink
I'm
shame in
old
this
school.
house.
I'm old school, so
Kink
you know,
Like Debbie Does Dallas.
no, Jenna Jameson.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But that's, I mean,
Her best scenes were with Tito.
never seen them.
I would
So-
like to get off
they
the
never
topic of
they never
porn
filmed it.
stars.
They're just Tito Ortiz kind of supposedly beat her up. I'm a UFC fan, but we're just gonna end on that. I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, she's at TikTok now, by the way.
Who?
Riley Reid.
Riley Reid.
Yeah.
He's that follower.
Oh, he's following that
I'll
one.
follow it. Fuck it.
Yeah, she does.
yeah,
That's
but-
how I know her.
We just ended a podcast of grief and cancer and children with porn stars.
That
That's how we do
my
it.
mom would be looking down right now.
Yeah, she would be pissing her
That's
pants
a woman
laughing.
that didn't watch porn.
Yeah, she'd be pissing her pants laughing. But yeah, that was the weirdest ending of all time. But you guys asked for it, so I did it. In closing, I want to say I love you guys to death. You know, it's sometimes family doesn't come by your bloodline; it comes by where you're accepted and where you're welcomed. And being a part of this household and this family as long as I have been, and then welcome back in with now breaking bread with you and doing the same thing and being a part of it, and always knowing that I never have to knock on the front door. I can just walk right in.
That's right.
I love you guys to death, and I'm
love
glad
you.
we're as long as we've been going, you know. And now we have 2 graduates coming up. Holy fuck!
I'm going.
Oh my god, and next year's my
that's
last
on-
year?
That's on
Dang,
IUP.
None of us are children anymore. We're all being adults.
All right, let's not get too carried away with you.
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
That's
Pretty
on
much wait till
being
you're
a
21
child
till
still.
you get out.
Yeah, but if you guys listen to the whole thing, thank you guys so much, and
That's so rude.
we're gonna wrap up here. See you guys next time. Interviews with Everyday People. Here is some. I don't even know what the intro music's gonna be. We'll just say Church and the Trains. We'll keep it there for now. I'm always looking for new intro and outro music, but yeah. See you guys next time.
And I just wanna get off of the floor. And I just wanna get off of the floor. 'Cause I still can't sleep without medication. Can't let my thoughts run wild while I still think I got one. And I care too much about my reputation. And I'm tired of sleeping on this floor. Yeah, I'm tired of sleeping on this floor.